happy, very happy.
Is vintage Matt Jones.
Here we go. Right now, let's take the field.
Call or text on the McClarty Daniel hotline, 877-377-6963. Now, here's Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
Good morning, and welcome into halftime. Great to be with you guys today. How's everyone doing? Does everybody have cell phone service today? Is this thing working? I think this is. Yeah. I think you might be able to hear what it is I'm talking about at some point today. It's been an interesting morning, hasn't it, already across our listening audience, and really, I guess, across the country. Being able to get a hold of all the people that you got to get a hold of. But hey, I've got my connection through Verizon for this radio show, so maybe I'll be okay. Morning, everybody. Matt Jones, Christian Johnston, the C Unit. I would ask how you guys are doing today, but I think the question is your cell phone service working right now?
Hey, man, happy Throwback Thursday. It's a beautiful day today. I don't know what all this gibberish everybody's talking about. I'm hardly ever on my phone, but I had two phone calls come in this morning. My mother and Phil Elson both called me this morning, and so everything is good to go as far as I know.
All right, so I guess yours is working well. I heard from at least one of our guests, Brett Dolan, that his phone is working too. So, you get a little, you wonder a little bit about the connectivity of our country and how our society just we got to have these things in order to get our jobs done in a lot of cases. So, an interesting day. I don't believe the number that I saw from AT&T about, 85,000 customers that are without service at any one given time. Feels like it might be more than that, coast to coast. But hey, as long as this thing works, we'll put it.
It might be good for everybody
It
might be good for everybody to not have a cell phone for a week. Honestly, everybody just kind of just chill out for a little bit. Everybody has the cell phone to their hip. It's wild.
It wasn't that long ago that we all kind of survived without it, and now, even if you leave it in your car, think about how helpless Christian must have felt yesterday when he had that the situation with the keys and the phone and the wallet stuck in the car. Yeah. What's the thing that frightens you more than anything, right? You had to borrow someone else's phone just to be able to get it, just to get things figured out. Yeah,
and I don't remember anybody's number.
I guess more than anything.
I don't remember anybody's number.
Yeah,
so
nobody
had to call the general station number.
It's hilarious for people that you've worked with now for over a year and a half, too. But hey, I think I'm in the same boat as you, man. I remember I used to be able to, I memorized, think of all the phone numbers that you memorized over the course of your childhood. I memorized so many phone numbers. I would be able to I would practice them, practice my phone number, my parents' phone number, not their cell phones, because my sister and I split a landline in the house. All my friends, I'd be able to memorize 20 phone numbers at once. I don't know any.
And you remembered, about 5, 6, 7 people's of their numbers. No question about it. And I want to say, still know it. Yeah.
We actually had 3 phone lines at the Elson household in the mid to late 90s, because you had the one that my parents used. That's a man and a woman that were sharing the phone together. You had the phone line that my sister and I used, which were 2 early teenage kids sharing the line together. And then there was the dial-up.
Yeah, the interweb.
We were one of the first to get internet on our street. That's right. We had our America Online. You know, back when it was through what, like Prodigy or AOL. Yeah, we had that third phone number. I
Christian,
remember mine. I remember my parents, but I don't remember what that one. Yeah, Christian. There was this time where you had to actually like make a phone call to get the internet going.
what the heck's a rerun? No, nobody has 2 television sets. Christian, nobody had multiple phone lines.
No.
Like you realize we're talking about the same distance and time. You're bringing up the line from
Back to the Future.
Back to the Future. That was
Nobody has 2
difference.
television
That was
sets.
1985. That's right. That was 1985 to 1955. We are now in that same 30-year gap of 2024 back to 1994. That's what we're talking about here, Matt. So yeah, if you look at the nostalgia of that movie and the 30-year gap, and nobody has 2 TVs, and what's a rerun? Yes, dial-up internet and having a landline is exactly the same thing now as that movie was to us. Craziness.
Wild on the
What are we
frontier.
going to be wondering about in another 30 years, huh?
Well,
Boy, remember the day when they actually had only 4 teams in the college football playoff and we were just going to have 12 for 2 years? You see, they're talking about 14 now. They're talking about 14. Of course, you don't even put the cart before the horse, right? You don't know. They got to figure out how many teams are going to get in before you start renegotiating the television contract. So, hey, man, when I see the executive director or the outgoing executive director, no, I think Hancock is still the executive director and isn't being replaced. When I see him talking about, yeah, it was brought up in conversation, that's just the initial lead. That's just the initial lead. Go ahead, grab as much money as you can, college football, while you actually can. And that's what that seemed like. If you talk about access, it's just to get another couple games on TV more than anything else.
That's it.
Salaries, yes, all the other things that go along with it. Facilities, buildings, food, travel, recruiting, all of that stuff. But it's also money that goes to people that work there as well. So anyway, I see a little hypocrisy in the argument in both. You can't have it both ways. It can't be all about money in one aspect, and then you lament that it's all about money to the labor aspect of it. I can't buy into that.
Well,
Yeah, you got to figure it out. And I got to figure out what seems like a little bit of a lag in this.
There's a little bit of a delay going on.
We've got a delay, but we'll try to figure it out, because everybody's got to figure it out on a day where the cell phone towers don't seem to be working picture perfectly. But halftime today does include Brett Dolan coming up at 1:15. He told me his phone works. Bob Holt coming up in about 3 or 4 minutes. I'm assuming Bob's phone works because we did texts together earlier today. And if your phone works as well, we'll have the McClarty Daniel hotline open for you for calls or texts as we go throughout the show on 877-377-6963. Arkansas baseball left Fayetteville today via bus. They are headed to Arlington right now. I am in College Station. Women's basketball has, for me, what's starting to feel a little bit like a must-win game for a shot to make the NCAA tournament against the Texas A&M Aggies. And we got our schedule for spring football as well yesterday. All topics we'll touch on at halftime, so stay with us. Bob Holt, we think, joins us in just a moment.
Baseball in Arkansas, it's just different. The atmosphere, the fans, the hope for something greater. All that preseason noise. It's baseball season in Arkansas. This is our time. This is baseball.
Listen to every Razorback baseball game on ESPN 95.3 and hitthatline.com. Matching down payment.
Selection: car, truck, van, SUV.
This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
Call or text the McClarty Daniel hotline at 877-377-6963. McClarty Daniel, a vehicle for every lifestyle.
When you're looking for a new car, you want to shop for a vehicle you love with an organization you trust. You've probably heard that McClarty Daniel means making deals, but what I'm inspired by the most is that McClarty Daniel means making a difference in our community. When you buy a vehicle with McClarty Daniel, you reinvest right here in the community, in our schools, in our little leagues, in our food banks, and our people. So you're not just making a purchase, you're making a difference too. Come see us at any of our 6 locations in Northwest Arkansas.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
A dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacalé.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouth.
Some serious crappie.
Nice speck.
We got crappie.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite white perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
BetOnline continues to be your number one source for all your basketball wagering needs, including pro and college hoops throughout the year. With up-to-the-minute odds, stats, and trends, you can follow your favorite team's path to the playoffs with in-game live betting, contests, and all the best player props. Experience the world's best wagering platform anytime from your desktop or mobile device. Head to BetOnline today to become part of the team. And remember to use the promo code BELIEVE for your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. BetOnline, the game starts here.
Looking for an African adventure without the hassle of planning? Kruger Safari Club has got you covered. Our custom hunting and safari packages take care of everything from transportation to accommodations, so you can focus on enjoying the experience of a lifetime. With our team's extensive knowledge of the best hunting and safari spots in South Africa, Mozambique, and Zimbabwe, you'll have access to some of the most breathtaking views and exciting game hunting opportunities on the planet. And with our commitment to ethical hunting and giving back to the local community, you'll know that your trip with us is making a positive impact. Book your trip now and let us take care of the rest. Find out more at KrugerSafariClub.com.
Are you
had a career high, 21, and then 22, and another career high. Personally, it bugs me. I was giving stuff myself when people say new career highs and new this and new records. If it's a career high and it's a record, it's new, so it's redundant. So just say it's a career high, say it's a record, don't say it's a new record. It just sort of, that's my pet peeve. I guess that's the editor in me. But, yeah, Mekhi Mitchell, playing. And the way he shoots free throws, like the other night, they obviously had to shoot free throws to close it out. And Mark is a really good free throw shooter. He did well, but he missed one late. Battle missed one late. And Mitchell goes up and just drops him like he's Rick Barry or something. Of course, he's not doing it granny style or Larry Bird or something. I mean, he just dropped him in so confidently. And when you have a big man who gets fouled a lot, who's, shooting 80% or whatever the heck he is over the stretch, that's such a huge plus. You see a lot of guys go up there and they clunk it and they're hitting 5 out of 10 or, 5 out of 12 or something. Man, Mekhi goes up there and he just buries them. And it's really such a luxury, I think, such a plus to have a big man who's hitting free throws so well.
Bob, let's leave it there. Appreciate you breaking out the AP style book for us for a moment there. You're right about that, too. It is not a new record. It's just a record set. Exactly right. Appreciate that and your time. Thank you.
It's like a complete game shutout.
Thanks.
Right.
Okay.
That's right. A shutout's always a complete game. See, we get these. You got to be stickler about some things. And when your job is journalism and it's English and it's doing it properly, yeah, that AP style book really helps out. I've got a comp for you for Mekhi Mitchell and how he's blossomed this year, Matt. It's a baseball comp, though. Go figure. Chad Spanberger is the guy I'm thinking of. It was his third year at Arkansas, and about halfway through that third season that he turned into the most fearsome hitter in the SEC. It took a while. I'll explain in a moment. We'll have lots more to get to on halftime.
KC Insurance wants to remind everyone they are your local, trusted insurance agency for all your life and health insurance needs. They are located in the Northville Shopping Center at 912 Highway 6265 North in Harrison. Feel free to drop by the office anytime, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 4:30 p.m., or call 870-517-1207 to schedule your appointment now. And don't forget, they are local people helping local people.
Get to the live events you love with the assist from Vivid Seats. Whether it's the upcoming baseball season, basketball, or hockey, experience it live with a 100% buyer guarantee. And with great deals on great seats, being there is all that matters. Plus, with Vivid Seats rewards you can earn with every ticket purchase, including surprise seat upgrades, birthday discounts, free tickets, and more. Just visit vividseats.com or download the app today. Vivid Seats, the official ticketing partner of ESPN.
You're listening to Halftime Live from the Crabtree RV Center studios. Crabtree RV Center, where RVing is life.
1.9% financing for up to 72 months on America's #1 truck, the Ford F-150 at Harry Robinson, Saddle Ford. All of that, and then pair it with matching down payments. It's the time to buy a new truck.
Yes, it definitely is. Everybody's saying don't buy. Interest rates are too high. That is just not the case at Harry Robinson, Saddle Ford. Get your rebates, get your discounts. Let us match your down payment up to $2,500, and let us get you rolling in a new F-150 at 72 months at 1.9% financing.
We're talking about saving thousands of dollars over what the bank can loan you money for, or anyone else at 1.9%.
Yes, and all these other brands out there advertising 72 months at 3.9, 4.9. Hey, you got the #1 selling truck at 72 months at 1.9% financing.
Plus, get more for your trade, and Harry Robinson never, ever charges over sticker price.
Negative. Come down here. This is where you want to buy your new Ford.
Harry Robinson, Saddle Ford, matching down payments up to $2,500, 1.9% financing up to 72 months, 1 mile south of exit 308 off of I-40 in Saddle.
Subiaco in Scranton. If you made a resolution to get reliable internet for the new year, Wave Rural Connect can make that happen. The latest zone covering Subiaco in Scranton is now open. Make this New Year's resolution come true with internet, TV, and phone service from a local provider you can trust. Order online at signup.waveruralconnect.com or phone 1-833-492-8372. Arkansas Valley Electric and Wave Rural Connect, changing the communities we serve.
Got a pest? Call West. If you have pest or termite problems in your home, call West today and learn how their 50 years combined experience can help solve your problems with competitive pricing and quality services, all designed with your pets and children in mind. Call today and schedule your free estimate. They even offer Saturday services and long life attic pest control. Call 782-7291. West Termite and Pest Control, protecting your home health and peace of mind.
I know we're always on the go, headed to Fayetteville, Little Rock, Oklahoma City, and you need a place to fill up. But not just for gas. I need snacks, drinks, and a restroom that doesn't make me throw up. That's why my new favorite pit stop is Jam Mart number 10, located at 6201 Grand Avenue on the way out of town. I can't stop by without getting something from their hot box or a fresh made burger. That's Jam Mart number 10, located at 6201 Grand Avenue in Fort Smith.
Are you an angler having trouble finding all the bait, tackle, and more for your fishing needs? Make a Wait Bait and Tackle, now located in Fort Smith next to Wits Marine on North 11th Street is your place. Make a Wait Bait and Tackle. Also has the largest selection of plastics in the River Valley. Reactor Innovation, Bobby Garland, Zoom, Mega Bass, and more. Check out the Dial Rod and Reels. Make a Wait Bait and Tackle. 803 North 11th Street in Fort Smith. 479-926-9320. Also get your rod and reels repaired. Come see us next to Wits Marine at Make a Wait Bait and Tackle.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Someone new is in my place. Always thought I was irreplaceable. It's not my business. It's not like I need that from you. Just the thought of you. And all tragic that you left me in the state. Don't find it funny. All those things that you know. Yeah. Just need you behind.
Find Halftime on 99.5 in Northwest Arkansas, 95.3 in Fort Smith in the River Valley, 96.3 in Hot Springs in Central Arkansas, 104.3 in Harrison and Mountain Home, and everywhere on hitthatline.com. Join the conversation. Call or text ESPN Arkansas on the McClarty Daniel Hotline, 877-377-6963. Now back to the hosts. Here's Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
Wow. I guess Major League Baseball, Nike, and Fanatics have been working on new baseball uniforms for the last 5 or 6 years. The players show up this season, Matt, and they hate it. They hate what has happened to the uniforms, and I don't blame them either because they look ridiculous. You seen any of the photos of what these new uniforms look like?
I have
and
not.
The fact that you can see through the pants. It's amazing. I mean, there's little things, but all these little things end up making a difference. It looks cheap. It looks like replica giveaways. The letters on the uniform, the letters on the back of the uniform are smaller than before. I mean, and not smaller to where they look cool, just smaller to where they look cheap. And then, I mean, I've seen photos of players that are taking their preseason photos, the kind of thing that you'll put up on the video board when they're at bat. The photo might go into the game program or on the team app, and they're standing there in the full uniform, and it's a white jersey top into white pants. You tuck in the jersey top, and Matt, you can see through the pants to the actual jersey being tucked in there. It looks like they're wearing a diaper. It's the dumbest looking uniform I've ever seen. And man, I mean, you care what you look like on the field, but then there's also a feel to this as well, and it doesn't look right. I can't imagine that it feels right at all.
Was it better than George Costanza when he's like, we got to go all cotton if you're going to do this? I mean, what else are you going out there in?
I don't know if they went all cotton or what it is that they use in these uniforms, but they have to make a major change soon. I mean, if you've been working on this for 5 or 6 years, and yet the universal response coming from the people that you were trying to design these uniforms for is, hell no. How quickly can you go back to what you had previously? I think they were trying to make lighter uniforms, all of this like sweat, moisture wicking stuff that all of our workout gear and running gear is made out of. I guess they tried to make these uniforms the same thing. So, it looks too light to the point to where you can see through it. We went from a place in baseball, and I don't know what football uniforms were like in the 30s and 40s and 50s, but the baseball uniforms were made of wool. they wore wool uniforms in the summertime, and now we're at a point where you can see through the uniforms, and it's got to be absolutely ridiculous. Well done, Major League Baseball. Well done.
You would think when you're getting something done like that, Phil, that you would have a pool of 50 players. You would get that they could be all stars. You could take last year's group, all whatever, but you'd have a pool of guys, and you would send a uniform to them, have them try it on, have them work out in it, and tell me what you think instead of just because who's the test, who's the guinea pig, who's testing it, who's wearing it, who's wearing it, going through bat practice, going out and doing things, and then you get a feel, and then you get real hands on.
Exactly. Yeah, no, you're exactly right. You would think that you have to at least test it with people that wear this thing, so that they can tell you whether or not it fits, how it feels, and then don't you? I mean, even if it's not a player that you put in this uniform, you just put an intern in it, so you can at least make sure that the pants aren't see-through. Look, I'm no fashion guru or anything like that, but I'm unaware of pants that people are good with if you can see through them. There might be a few professions where it's fine, and that's what you're looking for. But I don't think baseball player is one of them. And I guess the players also can't, make alterations to the pants the way that they used to before. Me, guys like to wear the socks up. Guys like to wear the pants all the way down. And we used to see players that would put the pant leg not just all the way down, but they would put it behind the heel and actually onto the spike so that it was always all the way down.
Derek Lowe.
I don't think they can even. Yeah, right. I don't think they do anything like that now. We had a player with the Travelers. This is one of the funnier, almost scarier moments that I remember. He was a guy named Trent Durrington from Australia, and he was my height, but he was all yoked up. I mean, he did a lot of. He never missed chest or arm day.
I thought you were going to say he did a lot of HGH.
Well, I don't know what it is he was doing, but he looked big for somebody of his size, and so he really liked to show off the pipes in the uniform. And so when he gets to the Travelers, and this is a guy that did play in the big leagues at that point, I think he was sent down from AAA. So, and I like Duro, but he didn't come in with the attitude of, I'm a AAA or big league player, but he wanted to be able to show off the pipes. So he cut the sleeves of the jersey, right? Now, the minor league team owns the jersey. The guy who I worked for, you did not mess with those uniforms. And it's one of the only times I've ever seen a general manager of a minor league team chase a player out of the office for any reason whatsoever. And it was just because he cut into the sleeve so that he could show off his pipes. But that ruined the jersey, right? Totally ruined the jersey. Well, this is something they got to fix it. Did you ever have like a problem with the uniform that you wore? I remember, I don't know how good those Adidas uniforms looked when Arkansas football played in the Adidas uniforms. What were the uniforms that you wore back?
We had
Nike.
Nike.
Who the sponsor was?
Nike the first 2 years, Adidas the next two. Tim Chaney was our equipment guy, and him and his Mark was the other guy. But they would make alterations on it. You'd go in there and get fitted, and then you would say, hey Tim, I want it like this. Hey Tim, I want it like this, and man, he would take care of it. So that's what I mean. There was a process going in, because everybody's jersey was a little different. You kind of form it to what you like. Absolutely.
Could you tell a difference between the Nike and the Adidas jerseys the first time you put it on?
There wasn't a big difference as far as the fit or the breathability, anything like that. Now the Adidas cleats, they felt a little more narrow. It's a little more European. Adidas a European brand,
right?
So for me, I didn't necessarily like it I'm always team Jordan, team Nike. Like you look, I mean, just the way it is. If it's a choice, whatever, you go Nike.
That's what it seems like to me. I mean, all things being equal, people will want to wear Nike, but in this case, I don't think it's Nike necessarily that's the problem. It's Fanatics, which I think the jerseys and the uniforms in Major League Baseball used to be made by Majestic. But I mean, independent of all of that, if you put 6 years of work into this, like this was somebody's job for the last 6 years to recreate the baseball uniforms so that they were more comfortable for the players and marketable to the general public.
Yeah, because
they've absolutely failed in every way possible.
Well, what I was going to say is, that's a big thing, right? All you hear about is the players complaining about their outfit. I would think there's other things to worry about. There's the players aren't complaining about their gear. It's just something that was just a fun project for it's like when they changed old Coke to new Coke, and it's like, oh, then we have to go back. It's like nothing was wrong with it before the beginning.
That's a really good point. Like there wasn't some call for, hey, my Coke doesn't taste like, I'd rather it be sweeter, just like Pepsi. That's why they did that. I mean, they did that because Coke was nervous about ceding too much market share to Pepsi. I don't know why Major League Baseball did this. It's just kind of odd. So I mentioned about like the player comp in this. Oh, look at what's happened to this player who's blossomed all of a sudden in. This is Mitchell's 4th year, I think, of college basketball. Because what did he have? He was at Maryland, then Rhode Island, then Arkansas. I think this is his
He's 24.
Year.
You got to remember, he's not 19. Like most college sophomores. 24. Usually, it's your 3rd year in the league.
So I mean, there's a difference though in what Spanberger did as a baseball player at Arkansas, because he was 21 when he made that jump. But in college. Well, I mean, think about this. You get a lot of players now, 3rd year of college, 21. Now we think about guys that are playing 24, and it's only their 4th or 5th year of college. But anyway, I mean, so Spanberger was a guy, showed up at Arkansas as a catcher, first baseman. I don't ever remember seeing him catch. And he was a big swing and miss guy for the first couple of years. I mean, one of those guys that when there's an if, and you're like, well, if this kid improves in this way, if he shrinks the strike zone, shortens his swing, uses all fields, he's gonna be something special, and this team will do this. Well, the if was answered with a no for his first 2 years, and really for that first half of his 3rd season, which was 2017, it was also a no. Up until then, I mean, he had about twice as many strikeouts in his career as base hits, and then all of a sudden the light clicked. It just happened. About halfway through that 3rd year, Spanberger turned into the most fearsome hitter in the Southeastern Conference. And it happened at the drop of a hat. He had a 3-homer game in the SEC tournament. He finished with 20 home runs. I think 15 of those were in the second half of the season. And turned himself into a prospect for a while. I mean, never got to the major league, got to AAA, but it happened like that, and who knows exactly the reason why, but it was just like the light turned on, and that's what's happened with Mekhi Mitchell. I mean, you went from a spot with Spanberger where it's like, all right, this guy comes up and it's going to be a strikeout. You might as well bat an 8th or 9th. And it's like, well, now I want to bat it no matter what the situation is, because he's about as clutch as it gets, and it's exactly what he was. I never thought of Mekhi Mitchell as a dangerous offensive weapon, but that's exactly what he is now, Matt.
He's been a mismatch. He's been playing with a smile on his face. He's been kind of directing traffic. The thing that I like about all of it is he's making the right basketball play. He's not a selfish player. He's a team player. You can tell the way he goes about it. But now he's looking a little bit more for his offense, because he's always made the right basketball play, always wanted to defer, always trying to pass the ball. He's been good at passing the ball, but his confidence when he gets the ball and making moves and shooting the ball with confidence, it's been fun to watch. The thing you keep wondering is, how long is this sustainable? Are you going to keep this up for the entire year? I guess you kind of see it with quarterbacks at time, like Nick Foles got in and kind of did a little thing. You think of Jeremy Lin and Lin Sanity up in New York. Now, I know that's just a whole different magnitude of what he did, but that was short-lived. But he was able to go get a contract and play other places. But he had about a month where he ran New York.
Well, it's sooner or later the scouting report gets out about somebody, right? When someone arrives on the scene all of a sudden. I think of there's dozens of baseball players where this has happened to. Yankee fans in the early '90s will remember Matt Noakes, who all of a sudden, or that was a Tiger. Kevin Moss is the name I'm thinking of. Maas. Guy had 10 home runs his first 3 weeks in the major leagues. They're like, oh gosh, here's the next version of Don Mattingly or Babe Ruth or something. Well, the scouting report gets out about you sooner or later, and the real thing that makes you an amazing professional athlete or even college athlete is how you adjust to the adjustment to you. But how do you adjust to Mitchell now? Because, this is a guy that you don't worry about. He's not just a post-up guy, and you don't worry about him getting the ball in the perimeter because he's become an adept passer. So, it's not like he's a dribble drive kind of a guy, but that's not what you're asking him to do, and you're not asking him to step out and hit three-pointers. He is a distributor where you need it, and he can post up when you need it, and he can get to the foul line too and score. So, I'm not sure if this and here's the other thing too. This happened just like that. It's not like he was scoring for the first year and a half here too often. So I'm not sure if there is a report out on him or not right now. How do you stop Mekhi Mitchell? Nobody's done it for the last 8 weeks.
And to your point, Phil, you're right. It's not like they're just tossing him the ball in the post and saying, go to work, big fella. It's pick and rolls. It's off of motion. It's off of movement. He's creating his own on getting offensive rebounds. He's been tough. If you take away that Tennessee game, Phil, and since his 24th birthday, I think he's only had one game where he hasn't really had a double-double. He's averaging a double-double in the last 6-7 games. He's been fun to watch. He's been a bright spot. And then they've been able to get a victory. Be fun if they can get 2 more.
And that one game, I think, was when he was held to 11 minutes.
Well, that's what I mean. The Tennessee game, he didn't even play. Yeah, he for whatever reason, foul trouble, whatever happened. Coach must didn't like something. Maybe the game got ahead of us too early. I think sometimes that happens.
Hey, don't forget, you get your sales tax paid right now in full on remaining new 2023 models in stock at Crabtree RV Center in Alma, behind the Cracker Barrel. That's CrabtreeRV.com. All sales tax paid on a limited selection. So don't hold back and stay with Halftime. We are right back in just a moment.
Drive a third-row SUV that is style in motion with the 2023 Buick Enclave at Harry Robinson Buick GMC. Right now, get $1,250 in total savings, or 2.9% financing on a 23 Buick Enclave. The 23 Buick Enclave, designed for the road ahead and well-crafted for your refined taste. Test drive a new Buick Enclave and experience the new Buick at Harry Robinson Buick GMC. Exit 11 off I-540 in Fort Smith.
Hey, it's Ty Richardson for Papa's Pub and Pizzeria. I want to talk about their pizza today. The Goob Special with extra pepperoni and rib rub on top. The Parm Special with double mushroom and jalapenos. Don't forget about the bacon cheeseburger and everyone's favorite, the old trash can. Swing on by Papa's Pub and Pizzeria at 508 Garrison Avenue in downtown Fort Smith, or give them a call at 479-783-9941. Papa's Pub and Pizzeria, the best dark pizza in Fort Smith, perhaps the world.
Do you need gutters but think they're too expensive, or that you need to get the soffit or fascia ready? No worries. Call the Gutter Guy. He does it all. No need to call multiple companies to get the right gutters for your home. Call the Gutter Guy. Quality, low maintenance, leak-free gutters with a 5-year warranty. The Gutter Guy also does vinyl siding and windows. The Gutter Guy. Over 30 years experience. Call 226-1259. Call the Gutter Guy.
Remodeling your bathroom? Don't let your imagination be limited by out-of-the-box shower doors or tub enclosures. Arkansas Glass and Mirror is your local source for all things glass, including plexiglass, mirrors, and shower doors since 1964. Arkansas Glass and Mirror has more selections, better prices, and the experience to help you build the shower of your dreams. They also have the only showroom in the area to help you create those dreams. Professional installation and professional service. Only at Arkansas Glass and Mirror, 1316 South Zero, Fort Smith, or online at arkansasglassandmirror.com.
Flu vaccines, both regular and high dose for seniors, are now available at Law's Drug Store in Fort Smith. Call 452-6116 to schedule your shot appointment. Usually there is no cost when covered by your insurance. Law's Drug has COVID vaccines, RSV vaccines for ages 60 plus. Pneumonia and tetanus shots are also available. Law's Drug Store, 6802 Rogers Avenue behind Outback Steakhouse. Law's Drug Store, open 6 days a week to safely care for you and your family.
Clogs? Nobody wants a clog. Westart Plumbing knows that clogs are a serious issue. They can signal that bigger problems are on the way. So contact Westart Plumbing while the problem is small. Slow shower and sink drains, gurgling toilets, and outside cleanouts making a mess? Call 479-646-5151 today. Westart Plumbing and expert drain cleaning since 1993. They keep you flowing. If you have slow drains or high water bills, call Westart Plumbing and expert drain cleaning service. 646-5151.
Matching down payments up to $2,500 at Harry Robinson Sallisaw Ford. It's like doubling your money. You put in $1,000, you get $2,000. You put in $2,500, it counts for up to $5,000 here at Harry Robinson Sallisaw Ford.
Yes. Hey, Tommy, we're excited. Every time we announce this right here, we get a lot of customers. We get a lot of people coming in, taking advantage of this program. And why not? It's free money, okay? It's going to help you lower your monthly payment. It's going to put you in a better equity position for in the future. Guys, there's no reason not to come down here and buy at Harry Robinson Sallisaw Ford.
Tell me about your selection right now.
Tommy, we have the best selection that we have had since opening day. Me and you've been doing this since opening day, and I have not seen this many cars on our lot ever. So come down here and see us. We've got the selection to choose from.
Nearly 200 right now to choose from.
Yep, got around 200. So come out here. We've got everything you're looking for. Car, truck, van, SUV, transit, Super Duty, whatever it is. Come down here. Let us match your down payment up to $2,500. And hey, we've got the selection.
Harry Robinson Sallisaw Ford, 1 mile south of exit 308 off of I-40 in Sallisaw.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3. Welcome back into Halftime Live from the Crabtree RV Studios. Crabtree RV Center in Alma, where we make your dreams come true.
Welcome back on halftime, wrapping up hour number 1 here, reminding the C unit, C movie today, at least for now. C lockout. What was it yesterday? C lockout?
The C lockout.
That's right. The C movie today. The Outsiders will be his last Patrick Swayze movie for Swayze month. I still feel bad that we chose the shortest month of the year for Swayze month, but that's be fun.
That's the way he'd want it. That's the way he would have wanted
okay.
it. Yeah. Leap year.
He didn't have a huge ego with this.
He got it.
Yeah, I agree. Great cast. C. Thomas Howell, Ralph Macchio, Matt Dillon, Emilio Estevez, Tom Cruise, Lee Garrett, Tom Waits, Darren Dalton, not the baseball player. Even Sophia Coppola is in this movie as a little girl. And Diane Lane. I'm going to be interested to see what you think of Diane Lane. I'm not sure if you've ever seen her before. And Coppola is in it because her father was the director. How many Coppola movies have you seen here? Seeing because we could do like 3 months on Coppola movies. True.
Never heard of
some
it.
of my
I'm
favorites.
excited.
Some of all of our. You don't even. Do you know who Francis Ford Coppola is?
No.
I feel we've got something to teach here. He's not just a winemaker too. He makes wine, but he also makes some of the greatest movies that have ever been made. Have you heard of The Godfather?
Yes, I have.
Have you seen The Godfather?
No.
Consider it a sign. How can you live or do sports radio and not have seen The Godfather? Now, this is one of my favorite movies ever, not just of a Coppola movie. Apocalypse Now. Like, we may need to watch that one together, and we might need 2 nights to see it. because we're going to have to watch the Redux. We're going to have to watch the director's cut. But if you haven't seen The Godfather or Godfather Part, Matt, we have a lot to teach him. I thought we were doing well. We are doing well. But we've got a long road to go.
I'm going to credit this to my attention span being bad most of my life as I've gotten older. And as you guys have started assigning me movies, I think it's improved a little bit. So as far as like
that's good.
watching
Well,
a movie, 2-hour movie, it's a lot easier for me now.
I mean, we even got guys making 3-hour movies now. I'm still trying to get through Killers of the Flower Moon. I'm on, and I put it on late at night. It was 3 hours and 28 minutes for crying out loud. But I feel really good about my place in society if I get you to at least watch The Godfather. I mean, if I don't get you to watch anything else, it would be The Godfather. And the second, because those are the ones you're going to need to watch. And I just keep learning more and more about things that I wish that seeing it knew about. But now I know my place in society, and it's to get you to watch this stuff. And Diane Lane, okay? So think about Coppola, and at least, give me a quick review once to Monday on the lady who played Cherry Valence. Okay?
All right.
You'll know what it is when you see it. All right, we get into hour number 2 of halftime here in just a moment. We'll take calls and texts on the McClarty Daniel hotline, 877-377-6963. Second hour coming up next.
Riley Farm Dental at the entrance to Riley Farms provides every type of dental care and procedure for you and your family, from general dentistry, brace.
This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
Call or text the McClarty Daniel hotline at 877-377-6963. McClarty Daniel, a vehicle for every lifestyle.
When you're looking for a new car, you want to shop for a vehicle you love with an organization you trust. You've probably heard that McCarty Daniel means making deals, but what I'm inspired by the most is that McCarty Daniel means making a difference in our community. When you buy a vehicle with McCarty Daniel, you reinvest right here in the community, in our schools, in our little leagues, in our food banks, and our people. So you're not just making a purchase, you're making a difference too. Come see us at any of our 6 locations in Northwest Arkansas.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit, is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
A dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacalé.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouse. Some serious crappie. Nice speck.
We got crappie.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite white perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
BetOnline continues to be your number one source for all your basketball wagering needs, including pro and college hoops throughout the year. With up-to-the-minute odds, stats, and trends, you can follow your favorite team's path to the playoffs with in-game live betting, contests, and all the best player props. Experience the world's best wagering platform anytime from your desktop or mobile device. Head to BetOnline today to become part of the team. And remember to use the promo code BELIEVE for your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. BetOnline, the game starts here.
Looking for an African adventure without the hassle of planning? Kruger Safari Club has got you covered. Our custom hunting and safari packages take care of everything from transportation to accommodations, so you can focus on enjoying the experience of a lifetime. With our team's extensive knowledge of the best hunting and safari spots in South Africa, Mozambique, and Zimbabwe, you'll have access to some of the most breathtaking views and exciting game hunting opportunities on the planet. And with our commitment to ethical hunting and giving back to the local community, you'll know that your trip with us is making a positive impact. Book your trip now and let us take care of the rest. Find out more at KrugerSafariClub.com.
Are you looking for the best Razorbacks insight and analysis?
Hell yes.
How about listening to an Arkansas football legend?
Matt Jones, all he does is make big plays.
What's the voice of the Hogs have to say?
Hey, what a great crowd last night.
Don't forget about the Omahogs.
The Hogs are going to Omaha.
Matt Jones, Chuck Barrett, and Phil Elson, the best in the business on the Hit That Line Podcast Network. Go to hitthatline.com or search Hit That Line wherever you listen to podcasts. Don't forget to rate, review, subscribe, and share.
Are you in need of a good power washing? Mike Jr.'s Mo Wash is a full-service pressure washing corporation with over 15 years of experience in the River Valley and Northwest Arkansas. Cleaning services include exterior home, fence, driveways, walkways, gutters, pool deck cleansing, and more. We remove dirt, grime, and more to give you that sparkle you desire. Call me at 479-763-5561. We're open Monday through Saturday from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. Mike Jr.'s Mo Wash, one call, cleans it all.
Madonna has gone from like a virgin to like a surgeon. You can try to nip and tuck from the curse of sin, but eventually death is going to win. God will do major surgery on this sin-filled world, and when he does, people will try and hide their faces from him. Even plastic Christians won't be exempt. Look up Isaiah chapter 2 and see how the spiritual world renders this an immaterial world. I'm Pastor Abe from Woodland. Read about it.
This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
Call or text the McClarty Daniel hotline at 877-377-6963. McClarty Daniel, a vehicle for every lifestyle.
When you're looking for gear, get these guys ready for those who will play in the minor leagues, the way you usually travel, but most of the other places that we go are far enough where we'll be on the charter flight. So, man, I'm glad I'm with women's basketball for the start of this trip, because 5 hours on the bus would make me get in the car and drive it. If there's one thing, now look, there are some things I miss about working in professional baseball, minor league baseball. Sometimes, 56 games to 70 games isn't quite enough to whet my appetite, but it's enough to at least, love what I'm doing. I miss at least 100 games. I don't miss the road. I don't miss the bus rides at all. Like that is, I'll fall asleep on a bus, but I won't feel really good when I wake up. Those bus rides are kind of for the birds. So I'm glad that they're doing it, and I'm not. Let's see. I've seen, I mentioned this earlier in the show. I like the idea. Nick Saban retired. So it's like he's been chased out of this job by the changes in college football. And I think that's part of it. I think his age and level of success also are part of it. But I think the change is also part of it, that he didn't necessarily feel that he needed to stick around and deal with these changes. But he says, Matt, he wants to be a voice for change in college football. You know what we don't have in this sport? You don't have a person whose voice resonates the loudest because it comes with authority. In basketball, it's like there's almost a quasi commissioner of NCAA D1 basketball. It's Gavitt, Dan Gavitt, who runs the tournament. So if you run the tournament of NCAA basketball, you run the championship. Who runs the championship of college football? Bill Hancock. But he's not he doesn't act like a commissioner. If you were to pick one person to do this, would would Nick Saban be the guy you would want to listen to? Because he wants to be the, quote, voice for change in college football, unquote.
Yeah, I mean, I like that the fact that he's part of it, even if there's a committee or whoever you're going to have. Who's seen more ball? I mean, he's been around it for a long time. I think what his point of view, his insight, be very useful. Absolutely.
Well, I wonder if he's in on this advisory board that the SEC and Big Ten have formed, and I know that that's supposed to be about the potential changes within the structure of the NCAA and college sports, but it really feels like it's more about some sort of a restructuring of college football, and then you let the pieces fall where they may after that. Saban says he loves the players, that he wants to be a voice for the players. But at the same time, he mentions how, he wants to get to a place to where it's not about how much money can I make in college, that it's supposed to be about development. It's supposed to be about, growth as a person, as a man for football players. It's supposed to be about education and building for your future. And all of those things are true. But I can't stop at the idea of we are 2 years away from another new contract with the college football playoff that is going to, it'll probably dwarf the amount of money that you're making right now through the playoff, that each school, that each conference is making through it. And we're constantly told, if it's about market value, that we're supposed to be able to go out and get exactly as much as you possibly can. That's what a lot of these deals are about. With the new deal for the SEC across ESPN, for all the new deals the Big Ten worked out, the Big 12 still making more money. They're doing it for monetary purposes. If the schools and the presidents and the ADs and the coaches set the example that it's about the money, the players are then following suit when it can finally, for them, be about the money. So I don't know. Maybe there's got to be a different way to communicate this, because I really don't know if you can be in a place where one aspect of college football, college sports, is all about the money, but yet the labor aspect of it is not supposed to be about the money. It's a disconnect for me now.
Yeah, it's a minor league system now. You're right. I think with dropping the student part, I don't understand it that well. I don't guess, but it's they're able to put it out front. I mean, didn't Manziel come out? Which I take everything Manziel says. You kind of there's probably some truth to it, but he said A&M came out and offered his pops $3 million if he'd stay for his last 2 years. And looking back on it, he probably wasn't mature enough, wasn't ready enough. He should have stayed, and that's what I really thought the NIL is going to help quarterbacks more than any position in football. But then the women's aspect as well. Caitlin Clark makes more money staying at college basketball. Imagine Caitlin Clark in a South Carolina jersey next year. I mean, she's the number one college athlete in the world right now. Is Caitlin? I mean, that's the name everybody knows. It's not, who's the number. Hunter Dickinson, he doesn't move. I haven't even heard anything about Hunter Dickinson this year.
Zach Edey, I guess. No. I mean, there's no one person or even two people that carries that kind of weight.
Since Tim Tebow, I think, is Caitlin Clark. You kind of look back at that crazy. Even Johnny Manziel, she's the number one athlete in college sports right now.
But what NIL has also done is create a level of opacity, where you don't know where the money's coming from, how much that person is getting. They don't know what their market value is compared to the other players that they're also competing against on the court and off the field for those sort of dollars. It's just there's this disconnect, and there's a disconnect in the language that we use to describe what's happening here. If it's about the money on one aspect, it should also be okay for it to be about the money on the other side of it. It's just you need more openness about it. With the Big Ten and the SEC, all these conferences, they are telling you how much money they're making from ESPN and ABC and Disney and CBS and NBC and all the alphabet soup. Those are coming out in press releases. You know how much the coaches are making because they're public universities. So if it's about the money on one aspect, I think it's okay if it's about the money on the other aspect, no matter how difficult it is to stomach it. I mean, it isn't about how you feel about what players are making or how much they are making. It's about the players. It's not about the feelings of the fans. It's not about the quote unquote destruction of the tradition of college football. I think it's about rights. I think it's about, if it's okay for one aspect of this to be about the money, well, then I think it's okay for the other aspect to be about the money, because this is supposed to be a free market. Anyway, Nick Saban, go ahead. Be the voice for change in college football. He's going to have quite a microphone to do it with. On ESPN, SEC Network, College Game Day. And it seems right now, he's the guy to go to for talking about change in college football. Well, I don't know. It looks like he's the guy to do it. And then the other thing going on at Alabama right now, I don't know if you've seen about this. It's like there's I don't know if I can call it in this term, but almost a hostile takeover of the radio booth at Alabama football. We've had Eli Gold on the show before, longtime voice of Alabama football. Did NASCAR, MRN radio for years until I think he had a run-in with NASCAR, and when they left him out of the booth. Well, Alabama's now done the same thing. The Eli Gold, who returned last year after fighting cancer for a full season, he did home games and the Iron Bowl at Auburn, but not the college football playoff, because travel for Eli was a little bit difficult. But he says that he's healthy. He says he's as healthy as a horse. He says that he was told by Alabama that they are going in a different direction and that he's been replaced in the booth in his, I think to him, unceremoniously. So you got some angry fans in Alabama. The other side is that the guy that's replacing him, Chris Stewart, was the one who was doing the road games and did the full season of Alabama football while Eli was ill. Chris, of course, dealt with a really scary health situation a few years ago that nearly cost him his life. He did Alabama baseball for years. He's their current men's basketball broadcaster. He's a pro through and through, and he's worked with Eli also hand in hand. So it just feels like a really, really awkward situation there, where Alabama's made a decision to make a change in the booth, and I think fans are both really upset about it because they have an emotional connection to Eli Gold, the same way that a lot of our listeners have the same connection to all the great announcers through the years in Razorback history, Chuck and Mike and Paul. But then you have this guy that's also universally respected in Chris Stewart that will do a fantastic job in that booth. And as a radio person myself, I'm just, I know that a lot of times these things are not pretty. They don't ever get pretty. They turn into controversies, and that's what this feels like.
Man, it's a fun business to be a part of.
Yeah, it's cutthroat, actually. I think when it comes right down to it,
it's like what I talk about going in at every level of ball. It happens 7th grade to 10th grade to college to the pros. You get injured, something happens, and somebody else, you're very easily replaceable. No question about it.
Charlie's on the McClarty Daniel hotline. Good afternoon, Charlie. Good to know your phone is working. How are you?
Man, it is for now, but I tell you what, Phil, they better not come trying to replace Phil Elson, Chuck Barrett, and any of you guys out of you want to see the tuna in orange? He ain't gonna look good in orange. If you know what I mean. The tuna does not want to be in orange. I'm not gonna be a happy tuna if you said
nothing's
Go
happening
ahead.
on our radio network. No, nothing's happening on the Razorback
I know
network.
it's not,
We all
but I
hold
think
hands
it
and
better
sing
not.
kumbaya. But you never, who knows what happens in 7-8 years? I'm not trying to predict anything. It's just awkwardness. It's awkwardness. It's like when the Tigers replaced Bo Schembechler, the longtime Michigan legendary head coach, took over as the Tigers general manager for a year, or as the team president. And one of the first things he did, moronically, was to remove Ernie Harwell from the radio booth. Ernie Harwell is on the short list of the greatest broadcasters of any kind in the history of the United States. And Schembechler just plucked him out of the booth, put somebody else in. It was such a mistake he had to put him back in the next year. These sort of things happen when people make decisions and they're paid to make decisions. It's just it's never something when it's someone that has had such longevity as Eli and has been connected with so many great moments publicly. When it happens like this, it's just going to be ugly. But I wouldn't worry about any changes on the Razorback network. That's not going to happen yet.
That's good. I just don't, Hope not. But change is part of it. And, Matt, I want to ask you something, man. I know you play a little bit as far as gaming. I know a lot of people have decided that they are going to come out of retirement in college football next year. Have you decided if you're going to play, or what are you going to do? You're going to come out of retirement, play a little NCAA football this year?
You know, I need to. I'm with you. Let's get it. Let's go get it. It feels like I haven't played that game in a decade or so. It's been a while.
I didn't realize this was going to be a monumental decision that every gamer had to make. I just kind of expected.
Y'all have a good one, though, man. Y'all have a good one.
Yeah, good to hear from you, Charlie. I just expected there was such a big cry out to get the EA college football back that as soon as it's back, everybody's going to play it.
It's more money for the kids. They
$600 to be exact.
$600 to be on the game. So pretty cool.
Would you have opted in if it was 20 years ago? Would you have opted in? Because it's each player's decision to do this. Would you have opted in for $600 and a copy of the game, which is worth $70? So essentially, in EA Sports' eyes, you're getting $670 to hand over your NIL to this game.
I need a 2-year subscription so I don't have to pay for it's still $100 to pay. I don't know what is it. It's $49 a month or a quarter. It's still money just outside the game.
877-377-6963. Are you going to play this game? Would you opt in for $670? Halftime's right back in a moment.
The Morning Rush with Ty Richardson, Tommy Kraft, and Chuck Barrett.
I can remember one time I was at a game. I was probably Ty's age. I was working with Mike Dale. Man, what do people do that don't love sports? What do people do that just love math and science and don't like sports? And he goes, they become doctors and scientists and lawyers and stuff like that.
Don't miss the Morning Rush. Weekdays from 6 till 9. Only on ESPN 95.3 and hitthatline.com. And we're back with the action. Coke Zero Sugar might be the best Coke ever.
That's right, Jim. With an irresistible taste and zero sugar, Coke Zero Sugar is a must-try for any sports fan.
This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
Call or text the McClarty Daniel hotline at 877-377-6963. McClarty Daniel, a vehicle for every lifestyle.
When you're looking for a new car, you want to shop for a vehicle you love with an organization you trust. You've probably heard that McCarty Daniel means making deals, but what I'm inspired by the most is that McCarty Daniel means making a difference in our community. When you buy a vehicle with McCarty Daniel, you reinvest right here in the community, in our schools, in our little leagues, in our food banks, and our people. So you're not just making a purchase, you're making a difference too. Come see us at any of our 6 locations in Northwest Arkansas.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
A dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacalé.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouth. Some serious crappie. Nice speck.
We got crappie.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite white perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
BetOnline continues to be your number one source for all your basketball wagering needs, including pro and college hoops throughout the year. With up-to-the-minute odds, stats, and trends, you can follow your favorite team's path to the playoffs with in-game live betting, contests, and all the best player props. Experience the world's best wagering platform anytime from your desktop or mobile device. Head to BetOnline today to become part of the team. And remember to use the promo code BELIEVE for your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. BetOnline, the game starts here.
Looking for an African adventure without the hassle of planning? Kruger Safari Club has got you covered. Our custom hunting and safari packages take care of everything from transportation to accommodations, so you can focus on enjoying the experience of a lifetime. With our team's extensive knowledge of the best hunting and safari spots in South Africa, Mozambique, and Zimbabwe, you'll have access to some of the most breathtaking views and exciting game hunting opportunities on the planet. And with our commitment to ethical hunting and giving back to the local community, you'll know that your trip with us is making a positive impact. Book your trip now and let us take care of the rest. Find out more at KrugerSafariClub.com.
Are you looking for the best Razorbacks insight and analysis?
Hell yes.
How about listening to an Arkansas football legend?
Matt Jones, all he does is make big plays.
What's the voice of the Hogs have to say?
Hey, what a great crowd last night.
Don't forget about the Omahogs.
The Hogs are going to Omaha.
Matt Jones, Chuck Barrett, and Phil Elson, the best in the business on the Hit That Line Podcast Network. Go to hitthatline.com or search Hit That Line wherever you listen to podcasts. Don't forget to rate, review, subscribe, and share.
Are you in need of a good power washing? Mike Jr.'s Mo Wash is a full-service pressure washing corporation with over 15 years of experience in the River Valley and Northwest Arkansas. Cleaning services include exterior home, fence, driveways, walkways, gutters, pool deck cleansing, and more. We remove dirt, grime, and more to give you that sparkle you desire. Call me at 479-763-5561. We're open Monday through Saturday from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. Mike Jr.'s Mo Wash, one call, cleans it all.
Madonna has gone from like a virgin to like a surgeon. You can try to nip and tuck from the curse of sin, but eventually death is going to win. God will do major surgery on this sin-filled world, and when he does, people will try and hide their faces from him, even plastic
Cricket and some Verizon customers. Apparently, you can blame the sun. Two powerful solar flares erupted from the sun. That can mess up your forms of communication. So that maybe that's the reason, and it's not, some kind of alien attack or terrorist attack or anything like that. Or maybe that's what the interwebs have been told to say by the alien. That's what it is. But everything seems to be in working order for the time, to include your radio. And I had to remind everybody on Twitter last night, when they're wondering if they're going to spend their $30 for Flow Sports for baseball this weekend, that radio is free. Radio always works. As long as we can emit the signal, which we can do on our ESPN Arkansas stations, most of these stations carry the baseball games. You don't need to pay a darn thing. Now, you can always use the Varsity Network app or the Arkansas Razorback app, and you can listen to the broadcast there. And it won't buffer. Our equipment works really well. It's announcers that will come from probably closer to the perspective that you come from as a Razorback fan. So, hey, it's our job sometimes to paint that picture, and that's what we're going to do for free. We don't even have to pay the $30. And then if you want to complain, well, you can always call this show on Monday and tell me we did a terrible job doing it.
Well, that's true, and maybe something with the cell phone towers. I did see where all the Culkin brothers, they're going to be starting, all five of them. You're going to get all five of them in a TV show together. So that definitely might be pretty cool. And a lot of people probably know Kieran Culkin from Secession, but his brother Macaulay Culkin, the Home Alone, he's the one that everybody I guess knows as the child star.
Yeah, but then that makes three others. So I've never heard of the other three. I know of Kieran.
It's like the Baldwins, right? You've heard a couple of them, but there's like 8 of them. Yeah.
Like the Jackson family, right? Like you never quite know. Like I thought I knew all the Jackson brothers, and then all of a sudden Randy Jackson shows up on American Idol, and you're like, yeah, this is one of the brothers. This is one of them too. But I didn't remember him. But that was really one of the brothers. Oh, would you watch the Culkin show? They do seem like a pretty interesting family.
Pretty eccentric. They've been a part of it for a while. Maybe they'll sing that song Mbop by the Hanson brothers. Maybe they'll cover that one.
They'll probably need wigs in order to do that. Do you think people are going to? So here's one other thing, and I find this when I go on the road. Now I've probably called around 2,000 baseball games by myself. I think I must be over 3,000 for my lifetime, but I'm pretty sure I've done most of those games alone. You know, and Bubba doesn't travel for road games unless it's the postseason. So he'll go to Hoover for the SEC tournament, and then anywhere that Arkansas plays in the NCAA tournament. Now he was in Arlington last year with Brett Dolan. I wasn't there for it. Pardon me. But I'm going to be solo this weekend. I won't have Bubba with me. Bubba's got lots to do. I mean, he's a coach. He's got a baseball facility to run, and he's got one-on-one lessons to give, and he's got team to schedule and everything that goes into being a guy whose life is baseball right now, and he's a coach through and through. So, I mean, he's got a big weekend plan that doesn't necessarily involve the Razorbacks, so he'll be back in his facility, and I'll be by myself. But I know there are going to be some who complain, and I get it because, Bubba and I have this thing going on the radio, but I think I'll do all right alone. I am looking forward to it with a little bit of room to breathe. I won't have some big guy standing behind me or next to me with a bat that makes me just a little bit nervous, and I can call those big yellow poles down the baselines exactly what I want to call them without being told I'm wrong. So I think it'll be okay. I don't mind it all that much. And that just means the only partner I have this weekend, Matt, is you tomorrow when we do halftime, and I'll be at Globe Life Field for the show.
Yeah, but you're going to get a funnel cake. You're going to get a Dodger dog, taste of the world there, man. You get all the concession stuff that you just get you'll get something really cool to eat. Baseball parks, they got
to do that.
Baseball parks, that's part of the experience, right? They every baseball park I have something going on that's pretty cool.
I think I really do this. So the Arkansas is the second game on Friday. That's tomorrow. The first game would be Michigan, Oklahoma State, 1:00 in the afternoon. So we'll be on for the last hour of that show, which means from 2 until right about the time I've got to go talk to Dave, which would be 6:00. I can watch this game, and I can eat, and I can challenge myself when it comes to that.
You got to work.
Challenge myself to where I'd be nervous about being able to do the game.
Yeah, work day.
We don't need an emergency when you're doing a broadcast solo, correct? Yes, correct. We only have 60-second breaks between innings. But so you're telling me, Matt, I should not try to conquer the boomstick? The 2-foot-long hot dog with all sorts. Today's National Chili Day makes me feel like I want a chili dog. Maybe I'll do that tomorrow.
Well, if it stops and ends there, if it starts and ends there, then that's okay. If you're going to have one chili dog, it's then you can't keep going each inning for something else.
The only problem is that this chili dog that we're talking about is probably more like 5 chili dogs rolled into one. I think it's an emergency waiting to happen between 2 buns, which are the longest, biggest buns you've ever seen.
Excess isn't rebellion.
I do not want to rebel during the baseball broadcast tomorrow.
Excess does not mean you rebel.
I just want to be very comfortable in my own seat by myself, calling a ball game. If I got to do it on an empty stomach, I guess I got to do it on an empty stomach. Or just go get a boomstick and cut it into eighths. Call that a meal, one at a time. Calls and texts, McClarty Daniel hotline open, 877-377-6963. Remember, 6 locations for McClarty Daniel, Springdale or Bentonville, and always at McClartyDaniel.com.
Red River is the #1 Randolph Coffee store in the state. You know why? That's right, because we have the biggest discounts and the friendliest staff you'll ever meet. And nobody will have more inventory than we do. And this month, we've also got 0% financing. If you're looking for a Ram 1500 big one, you're not going to find a better deal. And we're going to give you 0% for 72 months.
For your new Ram, visit us at redriverram.com during Ram Truck Month.
With no fees or minimums and no overdraft fees, banking with Capital One is the easiest decision in the history of decisions. Even easier than choosing Charles Barkley in a pickup game.
We'll take Barkley.
Ha! First pick. Sorry, kid.
Yep, even easier than that. With no fees or minimums and no overdraft fees, is it even a decision?
Okay, here's the plan. Pass me the ball every time.
This is banking reimagined. What's in your wallet? Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com/bank for details. Capital One and a member FDIC.
This is halftime. Drive a third-row SUV that is style in motion with the 2023 Buick Enclave at Harry Robinson Buick GMC. Right now, get $1,250 in total savings or 2.9% financing on a 23 Buick Enclave. The 23 Buick Enclave, designed for the road ahead and well-crafted for your refined taste. Test drive a new Buick Enclave and experience the new Buick at Harry Robinson Buick GMC. Exit 11 off of I-540 in Fort Smith.
After I drop the kids off, I have to run across town for a meeting, hit the gym during lunch. Jake has soccer tonight, and Emily has gymnastics. Oh, did I turn on the crock pot this morning?
With a never-ending to-do list, it's easy to forget something important, like setting up a life insurance plan with Shelter Insurance. Your local Shelter agent can show you how to create a safety net for your family. Shelter Life Insurance Company, Columbia, Missouri.
Call Jason Hill in Greenwood or Wade Gilkey in Fort Smith.
Roses are red, violets are blue. If I had your bank account, I'd worry about alimony too. I'm Jackie Moth with Moth Legal Solutions. Call today for a free consultation and ask about our special pricing for new divorce filings in February. 479-769-1505. Moth Legal Solutions, real advice, reasonable price.
Eat into the new year with Art's Barbecue on Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith. Art's has many lighter menu options available, from grilled chicken to fish to low-carb entrees, plus delicious sides. And since Art's smokes all of their meats in-house, the ham, turkey, and other meats that top their handmade salads make these choices easy and delicious. And don't forget, all burgers are $1 off every Saturday. Art's Barbecue, Burgers, and more. Rogers Avenue next to Buddy's in Fort Smith.
Do you need gutters but think they're too expensive, or that you need to get the soffit or fascia ready? No worries. Call the Gutter Guy. He does it all. No need to call multiple companies to get the right gutters for your home. Call the Gutter Guy. Quality, low maintenance, leak-free gutters with a 5-year warranty. The Gutter Guy also does vinyl siding and windows. The Gutter Guy. Over 30 years experience. Call 226-1259. Call the Gutter Guy.
The tires on your vehicle go round and round, but when they don't, go to Van Alma Tire. They have tires in their name. That's their specialty. Van Alma Tire is all about tires. They have all the name brands and private labels available for you and in stock. So when it comes to getting tires for your ride, it's worth the drive. And financing is available. Ask for details. Whatever your tire need, check out Van Alma Tires on Highway 64 between Van Buren and Alma. Ready to get you rolling on new tires at Van Alma Tire. Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
I wonder what's going on with me.
Welcome back to Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones. Got a question or comment for the guys? Call or text on the McClarty Daniel hotline, 877-377-6963. Let's get back to the show with the voice of Arkansas Razorback baseball, Phil Elson, and Razorback football legend Matt Jones.
Hey, let's take a call on the McClarty Daniel hotline. Scott in Alabama gave us a call at 877-377-6963. Afternoon, Scott. Appreciate your call. What's going on today?
Hey, just trying to tell you, doing. Thank you, Matt. Thank you, Phil. Y'all do a great show. I love your show. It's a little bit Harrison. I live down in Dothan now.
I want to ask you about how the Gators, how you feel about the Gators. I mean, I'm Arkansas. I love Arkansas, but I'm a Gator fan. I've always been one. But
You talking
I
about
want
the
to see what
basketball
you thought
team?
about. They played a pretty good game against Alabama last night. I mean, that was a good game. Hey, they lost, but I guess they're shooting goes down.
Yeah.
I have Florida as an outside team. As if you're looking at the SEC, I got Tennessee number one. I have Florida right up there with Alabama. I think Florida's a team that athletically, if they get it going the right spot, they have a little depth and they have the athlete, they get the right matchup. That's a Sweet 16 team. There's no question about Florida could be in the Sweet 16.
8-5 in the league, 18-8 overall, and Florida coming off of a loss to Alabama. Did you see the elbow in the head? I forget the name of the Alabama player that apparently delivered this. An elbow in the head that's getting replayed on social media over and over again. I think Alabama's got a little something to answer for here. Florida got Vanderbilt and Missouri next, so they've got the same schedule as Arkansas for the next two games. Then at Carolina, Gators get Alabama again in Gainesville. Man, they got a couple of home and homes over the last 2 weeks. 2 with Alabama, 2 with Vanderbilt. You're looking at a team right now that has, what do you got Florida at right now? Got them at 18 wins. There's 2 wins for them waiting right there against Vanderbilt. There's another one waiting for them against Mizzou. That's 21. Let's say you split Alabama at home, Carolina on the road, 22 wins. Yeah, you're looking at a team that may end up getting into the SEC tournament, 22 victories, and then the ability to make some noise after that. So if you were to have tiers of SEC teams right now, Matt, Alabama top of the list. I gotta check and see the name of the kid who did this.
Yeah, no, I actually have Tennessee as the best team in the SEC. I know what you're saying with the rankings,
Tennessee,
what's going on. But if I had a neutral site game, and we might see it at the SEC tournament, I think Tennessee is the best team in this. That's, and I get it. Alabama has one more win than Tennessee, so I guess in theory they're the number one team in the SEC. But neutral site game, I would have Tennessee. That's who I feel.
So look at this here. This Muhammad, I might be saying his name incorrectly, Wacky or Wade, who drops an elbow onto the head of a Florida player. If you just look it up on social media, Twitter, whatever, type in Alabama elbow, and you'll see exactly the play that I'm talking about. And it really is. I mean, this is ugly. This is kind of disgusting. It is. You can see him as he's going to the ground for a loose ball, deliver an elbow with a chopping move onto the top of this Florida player's head. It's not an accident. It's not in motion of diving on for the basketball. I mean, this elbow was deliberate. And as I understand, I think Florida ended up with the foul here. But this has to be reviewed by the league office. This number 11 for Alabama, I don't think he should be playing for the rest of the season. That is a vicious elbow delivered to an opponent's head, right the back of his neck. I mean, you can cause a lot of damage right there. That's terrible. But then again, sometimes, I mean, I don't know what to expect out of a Nate Oates program, truthfully.
That's what I was going to say. Didn't Nate Oates? He's been putting his hands on the other team's players. I don't know. Maybe that's the other thing with Alabama is I don't know how much you trust them when it gets to tournament time. Being in the NCAA tournament.
I know who I'm rooting against. I know exactly. If I were to pick, if there is a villain school in the SEC when it comes to basketball, I think it's Alabama. You could have your feelings about Kentucky, and I think that's more because the amount of money they pour into it, that the coach can be, out there in front of you and everything.
They didn't throw number 11 out of the game
yesterday. LSU storms. I don't think they
threw Debo. They threw Debo. This is ridiculous. And I just saw the play, Phil. They threw.
You saw this play now, right?
They threw Debo out of the game because he jumped up to shoot a shot and a bigger guy there, so he just kind of reaches his leg out with no malicious intent. That was malicious right there. That kid, 100%. That's assault. That's not where in basketball is that how you? That's not cool at all. There's no way that kid should be playing at least 2 games. I think when I saw that, my initial thing is he's out of that game, and this is 2 more.
How does that not get reviewed in the game in and of itself? Why does this have to be something that gets reviewed by the league office afterwards? This was open. This was right there on the court. Sometimes it feels like you get officials that are inventing fouls when they happen or inventing contact when it's not there. This is right there in front of 3 officials. I guess they just weren't paying attention at that moment. And did anybody, again, I'm not watching this game, but did anybody get them to go watch the replay? If you watch the replay, all you got to do is just look at this kid's arm, Muhammad's arm coming down on him. If you do that in football, you're getting thrown out of the game. You do if that were to happen, if that was a first baseman coming down on the back of a runner's head on purpose, he wouldn't play for the next month.
Didn't we have a guy in the Missouri game at home last year hit somebody like that and got thrown out of the game? It seemed on the football team. So to your point. Yeah, that was malicious. There's no room for anything like that. There's no room for anything like that in college basketball.
It's egregious, man. I mean, this is egregious. I didn't understand the idea of, sometimes you get undercut going for a rebound and nobody necessarily meant it. I mean, it's not a violent sport in the same way that football is. There's a lot of incidental contact. There are elbows that get thrown when you didn't mean to throw elbows, but you also know that when elbows go up, something can happen. This wasn't just elbows up. I'm going after the ball. This wasn't like an inadvertent high stick in hockey because you're trying to deflect the puck or something like that and you catch the player's face. This is an open, egregious, violent act. And the word that you used to describe it, Matt, is exactly the right word. It's assault. It's assault.
He looked at him and then reaches hand and hits him as hard as he can. It's like, whoa.
Yeah, that's got to be something that's taken care of and taken care of now. Greg Sankey, get in on that, man. Do something about it. You got to do something about it. Otherwise, you can't just let this. They're not going to let it go. There's no way you're going to let it go. There's an outcry about it right now. So it's just another reason to root against Alabama basketball. Who would have ever realized you would have felt this way about Alabama basketball? Out of all the programs in the SEC or across the country, I would have thought to be rooting against Alabama football. But no, I found myself rooting for Alabama in the playoff because I don't know why I was rooting for them. It wasn't because they were the SEC, but I pulled for them a little bit. In this case, man, I know exactly who to root against. I don't feel like that about any other program in college sports outside of maybe Ole Miss baseball and Vanderbilt baseball, but that's just because they're cutesy and annoying and have all these goofy little antics that just are designed to annoy, and they do exactly that. So they're good at what they do. In this case, I think you have a program that almost views themselves above the law in some cases. I mean, did anything happen to Oates when he put his hands on that Mizzou player? Anything at all outside of just an outcry? I don't think anything happened with that. So if you have an instance of a coach putting hands on an opposing player and nothing coming from it, again, this is the same idea that I'm bringing up earlier in college football, Saban saying, well, we've lost the educational aspect of it. It's more about how much money can I make in college? Well, you have the example set for you by school presidents, by league commissioners, and coaches to make as much money as you possibly can for that institution, for yourself. So then what's wrong if the players are doing that? Now you have an instance of an example being set of a coach putting his hands on a player. Was it violent? Not necessarily, but it's something you're not supposed to do, and you know that going in. So when the example is set by the adult, how can we be surprised when the student follows suit in a way that's even worse and doesn't expect to get any repercussions from it?
Yeah, they say the players take on the identity of the coach, and it's the truth. The coaches are the leaders of these young men, and how you act That's what they're looking at. They look how you carry yourself, how you go about it, and it does. It starts and ends with the coach. No question about it.
We set an example as parents with everything we do around our kids. If I as a father and I had this conversation with her the other day. They have a little trouble sleeping sometimes, my kids. And I was like, well, you're on your phone a lot during the day. Maybe that's got a little something to do with it. It might not necessarily be like the blue light going into your eyes. You might have a little bit too much social media in your mind, and it's making you a little just jumpy about life. But her answer was, look at you. And she wasn't being nasty about it. I have my phone with me when I'm around the kids too sometimes. I'm setting the example in that case. You got to put yourself, you got to step outside your body every once in a while and realize the things that you do when you're around the impressionable people who view you in a certain way as a leader. If I'm their father, I'm a leader to them. Nate Oates is a leader to every player on that Alabama team. And he sets an absolutely horrendous example of times when he opens his mouth to defend a player who had no business being in that situation last year where the young lady was murdered. And then he sets the example himself of putting his hands on his player, on somebody else's player, nothing coming from it. Nothing coming from it at all. So it's funny, too, Matt, because we'll bring up the idea of, you just said it, too. The coach sets the tone in the locker room. Players follow that lead. So often we view that in the positive way. Like a Dave Van Horn coached baseball team is always going to be tough because he portrays that to them. He communicates those things about what it takes to be a tough player. And all the drills that you're working on and really the rhythm to that season sort of builds you towards being that tough player. And you get another bunch of tough players around you. All of a sudden you got a team that's resilient and can bounce back. Well, you know what? It works in the other direction too. And not necessarily in the direction that you lose games, but in the direction where you don't know how to be a proper human being on a basketball court. That's what I saw there with this play.
You would think that if Coach Oates had any respectability or had any character at all, he would come out and suspend his player and say, that's not Alabama basketball. That's not what I'm teaching these kids. Like, that would have been the first thing that should have already happened today, is this is not acceptable way, and this is not what we coach. This is not what we teach. And the kid wouldn't be, do the self-imposed thing. That would be the commendable thing to do. But I don't think he's going to do that.
Yeah, but unfortunately, of course you don't, because we have the track record of what's been in front of us for these past couple of years. So why would you think anything differently? I wouldn't. I mean, it's an athletic department where a baseball coach, basically gambled for somebody else, got fired. You had a basketball coach who doesn't care if his players are violent or not. It's an interesting, and they fire a radio legend. Fun stuff.
9% financing on a new 23 or 24 GMC Sierra at Harry Robinson Buick GMC. Save up to $6,500 off with factory rebates on a new GMC Sierra truck, or take $3,750 off with 0.9% financing or 2.9% financing for up to 72 months on Sierra 1500. 6.2-liter engine excluded.
This video is powered by the pros at Paschal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPaschal.com.
Call or text the McClarty Daniel hotline at 877-377-6963. McClarty Daniel, a vehicle for every lifestyle.
When you're looking for a new car, you want to shop for a vehicle you love with an organization you trust. You've probably heard that McClarty Daniel means making deals, but what I'm inspired by the most is that McClarty Daniel means making a difference in our community. When you buy a vehicle with McClarty Daniel, you reinvest right here in the community, in our schools, in our little leagues, in our food banks, and our people. So you're not just making a purchase, you're making a difference too. Come see us at any of our 6 locations in Northwest Arkansas.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
A dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacalé.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouth.
Some serious crappie.
Nice speck.
We got crappie.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite white perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
BetOnline continues to be your number one source for all your basketball wagering needs, including pro and college hoops throughout the year. With up-to-the-minute odds, stats, and trends, you can follow your favorite team's path to the playoffs with in-game live betting, contests, and all the best player props. Experience the world's best wagering platform anytime from your desktop or mobile device. Head to BetOnline today to become part of the team. And remember to use the promo code BELIEVE for your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. BetOnline, the game starts here.
Looking for an African adventure without the hassle of planning? Kruger Safari Club has got you covered. Our custom hunting and safari packages take care of everything from transportation to accommodations, so you can focus on enjoying the experience of a lifetime. With our team's extensive knowledge of the best hunting and safari spots in South Africa, Mozambique, and Zimbabwe, you'll have access to some of the most breathtaking views and exciting game hunting opportunities on the planet. And with our commitment to ethical hunting and giving back to the local community, you'll know that your trip with us is making a positive impact. Book your trip now and let us take care of the rest. Find out more at KrugerSafariClub.com.
Are you looking for the best Razorbacks insight and analysis?
Hell yes.
How about listening to an Arkansas football legend?
Matt Jones, all he does is make big plays.
What's the voice of the Hogs have to say?
Hey, what a great crowd last night.
Don't forget about the Omahogs.
The Hogs are going to Omaha.
Matt Jones, Chuck Barrett, and Phil Elson, the best in the business on the Hit That Line Podcast Network. Go to hitthatline.com or search Hit That Line wherever you listen to podcasts. Don't forget to rate, review, subscribe, and share.
Are you in need of a good power washing? Mike Jr.'s Mo Wash is a full-service pressure washing corporation with over 15 years of experience in the River Valley and Northwest Arkansas. Cleaning services include exterior home, fence, driveways, walkways, gutters, pool deck cleansing, and more. We remove dirt, grime, and more to give you that sparkle you desire. Call me at 479-763-5561. We're open Monday through Saturday from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. Mike Jr.'s Mo Wash, one call, cleans it all.
Madonna has gone from like a virgin to like a surgeon. You can try to nip and tuck from the curse of sin, but eventually death is going to win. God will do major surgery on this sin-filled world, and when he does, people will try and hide their faces from him. Even plastic Christians won't be exempt. Look up Isaiah chapter 2 and see how the spiritual world renders this an immaterial world. I'm Pastor Abe from Woodland. Read about it.
This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air.
Financing for 60 months or a free loader on compacts. Choose 0% financing or cash back on mid-range tractors and on select hay tools, or you can get up to $40,000 cash back on a new T7. So hurry into your local WT equipment dealer today. Shop that huge selection of in-stock inventory. You can always go online to WTEquip.com. Hurry, because offers end March 31st. Mid-70s, Chuck Knoll got into some hot water with the NFL and with the Oakland Raiders, and I think there was also a trial about this, a defamation trial, and they used the term criminal element to describe some of the antics is not the term here, some of the actions by the Oakland Raiders, and I think he was pointing specifically to Jack Tatum, who was their hard-hitting safety. And, you know, they took umbrage to that. Now, he was talking about criminal element on the court or on the football field. I don't know if I'm willing to go that far with Alabama, but there is a little bit of a different element with the way that Alabama basketball is run right now. And I think if Chuck Knoll were around and you'd ask him about this, he'd be like, well, all right, can we compare the Oakland Raiders of the mid-'70s maybe to Alabama college basketball right now? I think you can draw a little bit of that line. When you see an action like Muhammad Haig's action, a violent chopping motion with an elbow on the back of an opponent's head, if the word assault is thrown out, if he had done that on a random street corner, he'd be thrown in jail for that. So maybe there is a little bit of a criminal element there.
Oh, it was clear. It was clear as day. I mean, that's he looks down and sees what happens and does it like he's done it before, like being on a dog pile of some kind. So yeah, that's that's these kids are making too much money. Don't be doing stuff like that. I don't know. Do you start fining kids now instead of is that a thing with NIL? You do something like that. You gotta you start taking away their money and then they start acting right.
Yeah, well, I mean, what other way is there to do something about this? You can't take away the scholarship money. You can't take away the Alston money. You can do something with playing time, but would I trust Nate Oates to sit a player that he thinks is going to help him win? No, not at all. Yeah, fine money. It comes from the league office. It's not something that is dictated by the teams or by each head coach. Now this is also something that ends up getting collectively bargained because all the fines across professional sports that are dictated by the commissioners, those are collectively bargained. That gets bargained into whatever the deal of college sports 2.0 or if it's 3.0 or 4.0. Because there has to be repercussions to that. And there has to be, you don't play for 2 weeks or something like this. I don't want to harp on it too much. There's only so much you can get on about this.
My initial was 2 games. I thought he should have been. If they threw Devo out for that, for less,
for whatever he did,
exactly for whatever that was, and that one right there looked like there. You gotta think. I think that's whenever you write the rule or read the rule and see it. It's you got to be able to tell if it was malicious or not. Was this something that was an actual in the flow of a basketball game? Or is this something else? And that looked like it was something else. It didn't look like Devo's at least looked like it was in the flow of the game. I get it. But that looked like a 2-game suspension the first time I saw it.
Yeah, this is also the guy who stepped on John A. Broom.
Oh, it's the same.
Auburn,
so he's
stepped on his hand.
He's the same
guy.
Yeah, it looked natural to him when he did it. That's the same thing. Yeah.
Grayson Allen all over again. Stay with us as hour number 3 of halftime comes to you in just a moment on ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com.
1.9% financing for as long as 72 months right now at Harry Robinson. Salisal Ford, 1 mile south of exit 308 off of I-40 in Salisal. Hadn't seen 1.9 in a while and certainly hadn't seen it on 72 months.
Yes, and you know what else you haven't seen? The matching down payments with the special APR. So come down here and see us. We'll match your down payment up to $2,500. 72 months, 1.9 on the new F-150s. We've got plenty in stock to choose from. We've loaded up on this so that way that you have a selection. So get down here and see us. We've got the new inventory. And we've got the pre-owned inventory. We've got the biggest selection that we've had since opening day. So come down here and see us.
Back to these F-150s at 1.9%. This is America's #1 truck. So you're getting the best deal on the best truck.
Yes, hey, and we're the home of more for your trade. So why not get more money for the vehicle you're trading, get locked in at a low APR right now, and all in all, just get a good deal.
Hey, it's all at Harry Robinson, Salisal Ford, 1 mile south of exit 308 off of I-40 in Salisal and online at harryrobinson.com.
Whether you're fishing for cold water bass on Beaver Lake or Table Rock, or fishing for a trophy brown trout on the Mighty White River, the Smithwick Original Suspending Rattling Road will catch them. It has that famous rolling action, whether it's fished extremely slow or worked fast in heavy current. This rope suspends, so it will stay in the strike zone longer, allowing you to catch more fish. Available at Walmart, Bass Pro Shops, Academy, LureNet.com, and tackle stores all over the place. The Smithwick Original Suspending Rattling Road.
This year, upgrade your home to safe, convenient, and energy-efficient natural gas from Arkansas Oklahoma Gas. Skip the prepayments and delivery issues, and enjoy the peace of mind knowing that your natural gas is always there when you need it. And we can help make converting your home easy and affordable too. For heating, hot water, cooking, and more, it's time to upgrade to safe, reliable, and energy-efficient natural gas. Visit AOGC.com to learn more. AOG, energy for life.
Joe's Grill and Cantina is already chipping away at 2024. If you have never tried Joe's Chips and Salsa, you're missing a Tex-Mex treat. House-made salsa, made daily with fresh veggies, even carrots. Try their sizzling fajita skillets, crunchy tacos, and their enchiladas with a homemade sauce is the best around. Plus a full bar and TVs all around the restaurant. Joe's Grill and Cantina. Great Tex-Mex, even better service. Joe's Grill and Cantina, 3400 South 74th Street, across from Harps in Fort Smith.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
For today, we'll see a chance to showers and few thunderstorms across the north, otherwise increasing sunshine further south. High temperatures today, low to mid-70s. We're nice and clear but cool tonight. Overnight lows in the 40s, and then sunshine returning on Friday, low to mid-60s. I'm Sally Russell with the forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
The weather is brought to you by Come Get You Some, Arkansas's premier off-road superstore. Call 782-MUD today. KERX, Paris, Fort Smith.
2 seconds, 1 second, let's fly with it.
From the Bushlight Studios, this is ESPN 95.3. Coming to you live from the Crabtree RV Center Studios. Broadcasting on ESPN Arkansas and streaming on hitthatline.com.
We got a good one today. You got a thing in here that doesn't respect it. From all right. What he said dominate, and we not doing it.
We're gonna go get one and celebrate on somebody else's stage.
Yeah. Man, Jones, man, take it to the house.
People said you had very motivational words at halftime.
It's halftime with Bill Elson and Matt Jones.
From the bottom of my toes to the top of my head. I put my heart up. Let's go, man.
Probably as frustrated as I've been the first half.
What they even one Razorback?
Second half, very happy.
It's vintage Matt Jones. Here we go. Right now, let's take the field.
Text on the McClarty Daniel hotline, 877-377-6963. Now, here's Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
And we're into the third hour halftime on ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com. Phil Elson here with Matt Jones and C Unit. Whatever we're going to call him for the moment. Christian Johnston is his real name. We got you for another hour on ESPN Arkansas, and then we have Brett Dolan coming up in about 15 minutes. So calls and texts coming up as you want to get on, 877-377-6963. Big game tonight for the women's basketball team. Matt, we got A&M on the road. A&M has lost a couple games in a row. They've had trouble scoring some points. And, you know, it's like when we talk about where it seems that with the men's team, now that they're kind of forced into a smaller rotation with injuries to Bennyfield and Brazil and Graham, you know, you pretty much know your 7 to 8 players are going to be out there. And I think Deagle will play more if he's not in foul trouble, but 3 fouls in about, 7 minutes? It's going to be tough to get him on the court. The women's team has been dealing with this all year long. Jersey Wolfenbarger quit the team before the season started. I know she went, I'm going to say quit the team because she went through practice and she hasn't transferred anywhere yet. So I think the word quit in this case works. Sasha Goforth left the team, quit too, but that was out of health reasons, and I hope she's going to be okay. You've had the injury to Carly Keats, you've had an injury to Emory Ellis, to Leah Scott, still not with the program, dealing with a, quote, serious family emergency, unquote. And we don't know, when she will return or if or what the circumstances are surrounding that. So you basically have, Matt, like 6 to 7 players that you count on right now. They've been dealing with it all year long, and it's just interesting. And this is nothing against Talia because she's an incredibly talented player. They played better without Talia Scott than they played with Talia Scott. And a part of that has to also be the idea that she came to Arkansas to play on the Mike Neighbors system, to have that freedom that a player like her desires. But sometimes that freedom takes opportunities away from somebody else. Sometimes that freedom can lead to forced shots. which can lead to breakout opportunities for the opponent. We see fewer of those right now without Talia. I think she'll refine herself and her game as she gets older, but she's only a freshman. They play better without her. And I'll be interested to see how they do without her tonight, because this, if you want to go to 8-8 in the league and you want to get an NCAA bid, and 8-8 is the way to do it, and probably so. You got to win this one tonight. Absolutely have to win this one tonight.
Well, you want your most talented ladies out there, no question about it, Phil. One thing that an injury does, or when you stop playing for a little bit, and you're the best, and you see the team go out there and have success, and you're watching, and I'm sure she is a student in the game if she's that good. Trust your teammates a little bit now. That's what you should learn a lesson from this, that your teammates are good too, and just like what you said, you take an ill-advised shot, fast break points on the other side, you're giving up easy baskets. So sit back and self-reflect, look at that, how it's going on, understand how to incorporate your teammates in the game, and get back to playing team basketball. And then you're going to be better, because you 100%, you want your best athletes out there.
Well, at 6:00 is the tip. It's the only game Arkansas plays against A&M this year, and the Aggies have done a total turnaround. I think they finished, 2? I think it was 2-14 in the SEC last year, 5-7 right now in the league. So they've definitely turned it around. They've brought in a lot of transfers. Joni Taylor's the head coach, and her second year after taking Georgia to the tournament, I think it was 2 or 3 years in a row. So, but after that, it's Vanderbilt on Sunday. That's must win too. And then finishing with South Carolina on the road, or South Carolina at Bud Walton. You can play your best and still lose to South Carolina. And then on the road at Ole Miss. And that'll be, we'll see what happens when you get there. That potentially is winnable. But Ole Miss has been really, really tough at home this year. Let's see. Text on the McClarty Daniel hotline at 877-377-6963. Jason Howell texted, and he remembered a game that I was called, not just a game I called on myself. I'm calling the baseball game this weekend at Globe Life Field solo. He remembered, I've done all the road games at Arkansas solo, and he remembers one. This was the 2019 season at Auburn. We had a doubleheader on a Friday because the Thursday game got banged and rained out. So halftime then, it was me and Ty. It was 12-2 instead of a 3-hour show. Did the 2-hour show. First pitch of the doubleheader would have been probably around 4:00. They lost the first game of that doubleheader in heartbreaking fashion. I remember they had a lead. Isaiah Campbell had pitched really well and lost the game in the 8th or 9th inning. They had to come back and played, if I remember, I think it was a 16-inning game that went up until about midnight. So I might have done about 12 hours of radio there by myself, which, like, doing a talk show is one thing. And you got to figure out what you're going to talk about and expound upon topics and everything that goes into that. But when it's SEC baseball games that you're broadcasting too, there's an emotion that goes into that. I'm surprised I was even able to wake up the next morning. It was way too much. But you won't have to worry about doubleheaders in this weekend at Globe Life Field, because the phrase used to be, when I worked for the Travs, Bill Valentine for years had created this marketing tool about it never rains at Raywinder Field. Like, he would actually tell you, because he would be worried, let people, no, it might rain today. Oh, we're not going to go out to the game. Goes, don't worry, it never rains at Raywinder Field. He would explain the reason with the topography of the city of Little Rock and how the ballpark was sort of up against the hill near Hillcrest, and how that sort of blocked some of the clouds from coming over. And so it didn't rain at Raywinder Field until it actually did rain at Raywinder Field, and then you weren't allowed to say that on the air. We're actually going to be in a place where it won't rain, and we've actually been there when the water was shut down in DFW in 2021 because of snow and ice. You can play baseball in this place. They've got generators, even if there's no cell phone towers anywhere that are working at AT&T State from AT&T. We will have baseball at Globe Life Field, hell or high water, man, and that makes me feel pretty good about it, because I don't want to be sitting there killing time by myself.
Well, I want to ask you a question, Phil, and hopefully I'll get to ask you the question Monday or Tuesday again. This show still continuing on, and everybody's cell phone works, and the world's not burning down. But give me your top four. I mean, give me put the teams in order that are going to Arlington. Like, how do you have these teams ranked right now? And then I want to see, after you watch them play, then I want to see, who do you have? Is Michigan better than Oregon State? How would you rank these teams right now?
It's Arkansas, Oregon State, Oklahoma State, Michigan.
That's how you got it right now. And then on Monday, I want to see if if anything changes your mind. If you're like, man, Michigan's way better than what I thought. Actually, Oregon State's the best team. I want to see. So you got Arkansas, Oregon State. Okay.
They knew what they were doing, pitting Arkansas and Oregon State on a Friday, because you're going to get the two best pitchers of each of these teams. Hagen Smith for Arkansas, Aiden May for Oregon State. May, by the way, pitched for Arizona at Baum last year in a regional and lost to Santa Clara, the same Santa Clara team that Arkansas beat twice. Oregon State has maybe the top position player prospect in the country in college ball, Trevor Bazana. He's an Australian. And so with him and Hagen Smith going up against each other, I'm going to tell you what, you're going to have to pick up the scouts' tongues off the floor. They knew what they were doing when they put Arkansas and Oregon State together on a Friday. Because not only are these the two best teams in Arlington, these are potentially two of the best teams in college baseball this year. Could it potentially be a preview into a College World Series matchup, or maybe a rematch in the finals? You bet your bottom dollar it could. I don't think there's any doubt.
Let's go baseball.
Let's go baseball. Let's go. But first, let's go basketball tonight. Then we'll go radio show tomorrow. And then we'll go baseball tomorrow, after I eat 1/8 of a boomstick, because I don't want to be – I do a lot of stupid things, Matt. You and I have gotten into this off the air, some of the stupid things we've done in life. I think it would be pretty stupid, and if I were to try to chow down an entire boomstick, even 3 hours before getting on the air for a solo baseball.
I'm surprised I made it this far.
Can you make it another 50 minutes? I think I can. Stay with us. Brett Dolan is next.
There's no place in the SEC that does it like this. You know, where the home court advantage is so huge when the fans show up.
Number one environment in college basketball, no argument, Buddy Altman.
I ain't never heard them get that loud. I say a lot.
Listen to every Razorback basketball game right here on ESPN 95.3 and hitthatline.com.
Matching down payments up to $2,500 at Harry Robinson Salisal Ford, 1 mile south of exit 308, off of I-40 in Salisal. The place to be for the biggest selection, the best prices, and again, matching down payments is like free money.
Yes, definitely. Like you said, it's almost like free money. Your $2,500 turns into $5,000. So come down here and see us, Harry Robinson Salisal Ford. We've got the best deals out there on the lot. We've got more inventory than we've ever had before. We have over 200 units on the lot right now to choose from. So get down here and see us. New inventory, 72 months at 1.9% financing on the new F-150s. And we just went through and repriced every single one of our pre-owned cars. Well, they are marked, and they're marked down, and they are priced to move. So come down here and see us.
And matching down payments is good on every vehicle on your lot.
Yes, new and used. Even on the new, you get your rebates, discounts. We'll match your down payment, and let's get you a special APR as low as 0%.
Matching down payments at Harry Robinson Salisal Ford, 1 mile south of exit 308 off of I-40 in Salisal, and online at harryrobinson.com.
Hello, this is Sebastian County Assessor Zach Johnson here to remind you to assess your personal property by May 31st to avoid late penalty. You can do this in person at one of our 3 locations, over the phone, or online by going to www.countyservice.net. I would also like to remind any current homeowners or individuals buying their homes on contract to contact our office and check on your eligibility for the homestead tax credit. Contact us today to see if you qualify. The homestead tax credit can save you up to $425 off of your tax bill.
This ad sponsored by Sebastian County Assessor and paid for by Amendment 79.
Subiaco in Scranton. If you made a resolution to get reliable internet for the new year, Wave Rural Connect can make that happen. The latest zone covering Subiaco in Scranton is now open. Make this New Year's resolution come true with internet, TV, and phone service from a local provider you can trust. Order online at signup.waveruralconnect.com or phone 1-833-492-8372. Arkansas Valley Electric and Wave Rural Connect, changing the communities we serve.
The Hangout, Fort Smith's newest fitness center. Over 8,000 square feet of 24-hour fitness, indoor pickleball, tennis, and racquetball. Looking for help with your fitness needs? The Hangout has group and individual fitness training with more options coming soon. The Hangout, 5400 Gary Street or thehangoutfs.com. Pickleball leagues forming now. Be a part of something different, something better that Fort Smith has needed. Fitness, sports, and more. Let's hang out.
Today is the day. After countless hours of research, cutting back expenses, and 9 months of anxiously waiting for her, today is the day you finally bring home your new car. It's also the day to protect her with an auto policy from Shelter Insurance. Our policies are competitively priced and include new car replacement coverage if anything were to happen to your new baby.
Call Jeff Clark in Fort Smith or Brad Howe in Van Buren.
Clogs? Nobody wants a clog. Westart Plumbing knows that clogs are a serious issue. They can signal that bigger problems are on the way. So contact Westart Plumbing while the problem is small. Slow shower and sink drains, gurgling toilets, and outside cleanouts making a mess? Call 479-646-5151 today. Westart Plumbing, an expert drain cleaning since 1993. They keep you flowing. If you have slow drains or high water bills, call Westart Plumbing, an expert drain cleaning service. 646-5151.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Hold me to breathe. I keep going down. Well, now they hold me to breathe. I keep going down the road. I ain't got me nobody. I don't care me no.
Find halftime on 99.5 in Northwest Arkansas, 95.3 in Fort Smith in the River Valley, 96.3 in Hot Springs in Central Arkansas, 104.3 in Harrison and Mountain Home, and everywhere on hitthatline.com. Join the conversation. Call or text ESPN Arkansas on the McClarty Daniel hotline, 877-377-6963. Now back to the hosts. Here's Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
Heading on to the McClarty Daniel hotline, talking with Brett Dolan from, let's see, Perfect Game, Touchdown Radio, Razorback Sports Network, and maybe even this weekend, Brett, Flow Sports. Is that true?
It is true, but it's not the Flow Sports where you're going to be at Arlington. It'll be in Corpus Christi, but I'll enjoy a trip to South Texas and a little bit of side work with a rare sort of off weekend.
Okay, so what teams do you have where you're headed in your part of Texas, further south than where I'll be?
Yeah, 4 teams. 2 of them were regional teams last year in Washington and Maryland. Got the Panthers and then A&M Corpus Christi. So it's 2 games today, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and then I'll try and sneak out Sunday night. So hopefully, I'm outdoor baseball while you're indoor baseball this weekend. So hopefully the weather will cooperate just fine, and I can see 6 games to kind of really crank up this college baseball season.
You ready for all 10 big fans of Pitt baseball to complain about the Flow Sports connection? Because you know they will. Let me say this, like growing up in Pittsburgh and as a baseball fanatic, I don't even know if I was aware that Pitt had a baseball program. So it's good to know that they still play it there.
Yeah, well, we'll know a little more this weekend. I was at my son's game in Houston the other day, and I was doing a Zoom call with 3 of their coaches in the middle of it. So hopefully my notes make sense to me. But we'll fire it up tomorrow. But I'll be trying to keep an eye on what you've got rolling in Arlington as well, because it'll be a fun weekend for the Hogs.
I've got the better game. There's no doubt about that. In fact, I think I have the best game in all of college baseball tomorrow. Arkansas versus Oregon State. It's too bad we can't have a 3-game series with these 2 teams. Well, who knows? Maybe we'll see them again in a few months.
Well, you could. That's a good team, Phil. And again, I spoke with Mitch Cannon for about 20 minutes last week. And of course, he was a manager, right, with the Travs not that long ago before he went back to college baseball and former Beaver great. And I think he played for the Naturals, but he's got a great team. This Travis Pizzana guy, you're going to love him, if not fear him. And it's a veteran team. I think they had 8 guys walk about 25 times or more last year, so very patient. So hopefully Hagen Smith can throw strikes and have a nice bounce back. We know how good he is, how good he's going to be. That first appearance in the first inning really wasn't Hagen-like, so it'll be a really good test and a great game for you Friday night.
Brett, what do you think these teams are trying to accomplish during this tournament down there in Arlington? You know, trying to fill each other out, trying to go out there and play well. What do you think kind of their mission is this weekend?
No, I think it's a good question and a good thought process, Matt. I mean, obviously the easy question is you'd like to get some wins. Now, if Arkansas gets a win against a really good Oregon State team Friday, I think they feel like they should probably go 3-0. But, the one thing I like about Dave Van Horn is he will mention sometimes you're going to lose games early in the year, and those losses hopefully will benefit you in some capacity going forward. I think Arkansas learned a lot about themselves last year when they played in that tournament, and it was a different weekend. It was the very first weekend of the year. They got to see a few pitchers emerge. Gage Wood gave us a little bit of a glimpse. They also got to see that there were things to work on, like holding runners and not letting teams run them off the field. It was also the first weekend of the new pitch clock, so it was a little different, but I think they came out of that better because it's nice to play James Madison and whatnot, or maybe nice to play McNeese or Murray State, but I don't know if you do much more than gain some at-bats and a little bit of confidence. You truly find out something about your team, and then it has a regional feel too. When you've got to prepare for 3 different teams in a weekend, Arkansas does a great job of scouting and preparing and having charts and graphics on what they want to do for hitters, but it does kind of force you into that mode that you're going to see in Hoover and later on in the year, just to kind of get used to preparing for a lot of different teams rather than just one.
Well, and I think, when you look at this last weekend against James Madison, the loss doesn't bother me, because what it does is it shows you the things that you should be trying to clean up right now, and it's little things. Look, there are going to be games you don't knock runners home. Third base or second base, that just happens in baseball. Some of the other games, they hit well when it came into the clutch. But it was some of those, and it's like you say, the small things in baseball. The things about fundamentals in baseball, Brett, are all about the value of one base. And in the field, on the bases this past Sunday, there were too many mistakes, too many bases they gave up. And I just don't, that this is a team that is going to be fundamentally sound, just because that's something Dave always focuses on. And they're focused on it immediately, because that's why they lost on Sunday. Little things like cutting a ball off when it shouldn't have been cut off, the wrong person fielding a bunt, things like that. These are things you can clean up really, really easily.
No, I would agree. And when you think back to the team that finished last year, Kendall Diggs was in right field, and Peyton Holt was playing second base. But for the most part, it's an entirely different cast of characters. Now, they're accomplished. Some are transfers. Others were in this program. But it's different people in different spots. And I don't care how much you scrimmage against yourselves, it's different when you play a real team. When you're not playing the ones versus the twos at a scrimmage, or if Dave mixes and matches the starters. When you have that lineup out there for a few games, they need to play together. And we saw 3 left fielders and 3 different catchers in a 4-game series. So there's still some things in play, but Holt played a couple of games at second and then at third. And then you've got, obviously, a shortstop who's playing in weather he's never played in before. You've got a couple of first basemen. You've got so many different moving parts, and that's where I think this test is just a different weight class. And if they come out of it having gathered a few things from last week that they didn't do well, like rundowns and cutoffs and whatnot, it really sets them up, I think, for a pretty good opportunity to head into a conference play in a few weeks with a head of steam.
Hey, Brett, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about some SEC basketball. Did you see the kid from Alabama? Phil just brought this up when he kind of went down with his fist against the Florida kid.
I just saw a little bit of, I heard you guys talking, and I popped on the old social media chain and took a look at it. I tell you what, nothing's dull in this SEC, right?
Oh, exactly. Because for some reason I didn't know if you were on the call when Devo got kicked out. I believe that was the Georgia game, Phil. I'm trying to. It was a month and a half ago, but there was no maliciousness there, and they kicked him out of the game. How did they miss that? How do you miss that? Because when I first saw it, I thought the kid should be gone for at least out of this game and the next 2 games.
I do too, and probably going back to that Devo thing, and maybe it adds to what you're talking about. When you think about what took place with Devo getting thrown out of the game, I think it's hard to legislate intent. They're like, there was a blow to the face or there's a blow to the groin, whatever it is, that's what happened. And usually there has to be some type of punishment. It's hard to say, well, I didn't think he meant to do it or he didn't want to do it. It happened and it took place. And that's why I think this situation was a little bit unusual because, again, whether you're legislating intent as a referee or not, there was a blow, there was a shot, and it feels like there should be some type of repercussions for that.
But there's a track record for this kid. It's like the same idea as Grayson Allen. You just started looking for the kid to be stepping on somebody. I mean, there's football players that have had this kind of track record. Pitchers who are known as headhunters, or baseball players that are known to slide in spikes up, or take out a middle infielder in a dirty way. I mean, these things follow you. So you have to start looking for it. And so for this kid, this is the second time he's done this. Second time he's done this, which means you have to sit for an appreciable amount of time. But don't expect Nate Oates to do anything about it. Like that right there is a man like, I am not interested in what he thinks about college sports at all. At all. I don't want to hear his opinion about college sports.
He's become the Jerry Tarkanian, I think, of this modern era. There's probably a couple of other guys maybe you could throw in that mix. And I'm with you. I think the Grayson Allen comparison is a good one because we saw officials, at least it felt like to me, that they were calling games anticipating he might do something stupid, not waiting to see if it happened, but you stop giving a kid the benefit of the doubt. And then in this mind or this world we live in now, when you go home and you flip on SportsCenter, you open up your phone, you start to understand who these guys are, even if you're not officiating their games, even if you're just a fan. And once somebody gets a reputation, it's hard to turn that battleship around. And that's where I think some of these kids, you don't give them the benefit of the doubt because you've seen it before. You've seen it in person. You've seen it on television or on social media.
Brett, I think there's 3 teams right now when I look at the SEC that I think, man, that team could go to the Final Four. Give me 1 or 2 teams you like in the SEC right now that you think are just top of the class.
And maybe it's because I saw Tennessee in person the other day and what they did at Bud Walton, because the Razorbacks men's team has played a little bit better, really, for the last couple of weeks, with the exception of what Tennessee did to them. And then this was a question I think we started kicking around a while back because it looked like the SEC is going to get in a really big number of teams. But for me, it becomes, well, who can get to the second weekend? Who can make a run at the Final Four? Auburn's looked pretty good at times, but they've been a little befuddling to me. And I had them in person a year ago for a couple of games early in the season, and it felt like there was something missing, not big, but something, maybe a score or whatnot. Tennessee, I think, could probably do it. Alabama's a hard team to gauge, as we talked about. They don't play a ton of defense at times. And then I feel like maybe there's one more, but, a month ago or 2 months ago, you'd probably throw Kentucky into that conversation, and that's clearly not the case because they just continue to struggle and lose some games that I think you probably felt like going in they were going to win. But it feels like Tennessee's a team that has both scoring and some guard play and some bigs. And I'll kind of be curious to see what type of draw they get in that tournament. You can get a nice couple of opening round games that really propels you forward, maybe for a chance to win 2 the next weekend and get to Phoenix.
Hey Brett, what was your thought when you heard about Eli Gold essentially being relieved of duties as Alabama football radio play-by-play? The way I think about this is, independent of the decision that Alabama has made here and where Eli is in his career, it doesn't say he's not retired. He said he's got an opportunity in professional sports. He's going to announce it tomorrow. You never know when it's going to happen, and probably you're never ready for it. Like it is the rare broadcaster who gets to decide when he or she is ready to step aside. Because there's always someone waiting in the background who wants that job, and a lot of times there's somebody who's willing to give him or her that job. So that's what I take from this. You never know when the thing that you love it could be taken away from you.
And it's getting harder and harder. I think we've seen that in Major League Baseball. A couple of 24-year-olds got jobs that, it's a little bit different than it was 5 or 10 years ago. I would say what I thought, Phil, was that for the most part, college voices on radio usually get a better opportunity to kind of call their shots because they become so synonymous with their programs and their voice becomes synonymous with their teams. And for Eli, now I know he's missed road games and whatnot in recent years, but I kind of thought if his health was fine, he might keep going. for several more years. I saw him at the end of the Iron Bowl last year and just sat down with him after that crazy finish and had a nice 5 or 10 minute conversation with me. And it felt like he was healthy. It felt like he was enjoying what he was doing and was probably happy to be back after it was taken away from him for a while. So a little bit surprised by that. And then, I think he was just 70 years old. I mean, if had he been 76 or 77 and the university said, maybe it's time for you to stop traveling or there's a concern, but it was certainly a surprise for me.
Yeah, felt like a surprise, that's for certain. Brett, appreciate you, man. Have a good call this weekend, and we'll revisit next week and probably see it Bud Walter Palm sometime soon. Thank you.
Hey, enjoy your time in the Lone Star State this weekend.
Thank you, Brett.
Great place to be, Lone Star State. Even get to come back here to College Station for the end of the college baseball season. Maybe they'll give me a tour through the firefighting academy that's right next door to the airfield. It's an interesting place that they put the airport here, Matt. You get a firefighting field right next to it, and then there's a mini nuclear reactor right next door to the airport as well. The only thing they're missing is a munitions factory.
Yeah, Texas has their own grid. Maybe that's why your cell phone didn't mess up.
I don't know if I want to be on their grid here. Hey, it's the home stretch at halftime, and the McClarty Daniel hotline's open for you, grid or not. 877-377-6963. We'll be right back.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. Just go to this exclusive web address, ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
You're listening to Halftime Live from the Crabtree RV Center studios. Crabtree RV Center, where RVing is life.
Matching down payments up to $2,500 on the biggest used car selection in the River Valley. It's at Harry Robinson Salisal Ford, 1 mile south of exit 308 off of I-40 in Salisal. Troy, you got nearly 200 on the lot right now.
Yes, Tommy, I'm excited. Me and you've been doing this for a long time, since opening day of Harry Robinson Salisal Ford. And, we've never had the inventory that we have right now. So we've got what you're looking for. We've got the selection: car, truck, van, SUV, Super Duty, transit vehicle. We've got them in stock. They are all priced to move. We went through and repriced every single one of our pre-owned inventory. And hey, the special we got right now, we're matching your down payment up to $2,500. It's time to buy.
And with matching down payments, you don't have to take your tax refund and spend it all in a car. Matching down payments let you have a little left over for yourself.
Yes, and even if it's just 1,000, it turns to 2. If it's 2, it turns to 4. So come down here and see us, Harry Robinson Salisal Ford. Let us get you hooked up, get you a good deal, get you rolling the HR way.
All right, Harry Robinson Salisal Ford, 1 mile south of exit 308 off of I-40 in Salisal.
What's on your to-do list today? Does it include looking for a new piece of heavy equipment? If so, come by and see us at Sharp Equipment today and explore our latest offers and deals as a Wacker Newson dealer. Whatever your day brings, whatever job it is you need to complete, Wacker Newson Equipment is up to the task, and Sharp Equipment is here to help. Stop in Central Hydraulics and...
This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
Call or text the McClarty Daniel hotline at 877-377-6963. McClarty Daniel, a vehicle for every lifestyle.
When you're looking for a new car, you want to shop for a vehicle you love with an organization you trust. You've probably heard that McClarty Daniel means making deals, but what I'm inspired by the most is that McClarty Daniel means making a difference in our community. When you buy a vehicle with McClarty Daniel, you reinvest right here in the community, in our schools, in our little leagues, in our food banks, and our people. So you're not just making a purchase, you're making a difference too. Come see us at any of our 6 locations in Northwest Arkansas.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
A dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacalé.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouse.
Some serious crappie.
Nice speck.
We got crappie.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite white perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
BetOnline continues to be your number one source for all your basketball wagering needs, including pro and college hoops throughout the year. With up-to-the-minute odds, stats, and trends, you can follow your favorite team's path to the playoffs with in-game live betting, contests, and all the best player props. Experience the world's best wagering platform anytime from your desktop or mobile device. Head to BetOnline today to become part of the team. And remember to use the promo code BELIEVE for your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. BetOnline, the game starts here.
Looking for an African adventure without the hassle of planning? Kruger Safari Club has got you covered. Our custom hunting and safari packages take care of everything from transportation to accommodations, so you can focus on enjoying the experience of a lifetime. With our team's extensive knowledge of the best hunting and safari spots in South Africa, Mozambique, and Zimbabwe, you'll have access to some of the most breathtaking views and exciting game hunting opportunities on the planet. And with our commitment to ethical hunting and giving back to the local community, you'll know that your trip
was December. Do you remember that song, C Unit, or was that just one that Matt threw in there for you?
Don't remember it.
I don't think it was on the White Album. Was that the album that we assigned in? I can't even remember my assignment.
Got started.
I'm really not very.
Yeah.
Not really very good at this teacher stuff.
Revolver, Rubber Soul, Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band.
That's what it was. That's right. Well, I don't even remember what album. My head's not really working so well. You know, I have trouble remembering who has eligibility left for any of these sports now. There's so much coming and going. You get the COVID year. You don't know or remember who had medical red shirt. So I'm thankful for folks like Brandon Baker, who's at Arkansas, bestofarkansassports.com, for at least doing the work for us. When it came to basketball, you know, the guys on Hog Sports or Democrat will do the work on as far as that's concerned. For football, there's just too many players to keep track of about one place. So here are the players whose eligibility is out after this year, and there's 6 of them. Jalen Graham, Mackay, Jeremiah Davenport, Ellis, Lawson, and Denijay Harris. After that, Debo's got a year. So does Battle. Tremont Mark has 2 years left after this. So does Menifield and Brazil and Pinion, Blocker and Fall will have 3 years of eligibility after this one. I'd forgotten that Mark has another couple of years because there's a medical red shirt and then there's the COVID year. So, you know, I don't know what this. I think there's an assumption that there's just going to be cleaning of the house. I think there'll be a lot of movement, but I think, just Chuck mentioned it the other day, there will be players who stay with this program. I hope Tremont Mark is one of them.
I hope Battle's one of them too. You're looking at that unit. I hope Brazil's here. I hope Devo's here. I think that's something you can work with. Really, it's a good start. Guys that know Coach Musselman's system, know what's expected. Then you got to bring in a couple other guys. You got to bring in a 6'7" wing. Every team has one. Yeah. LSU has a couple. Florida has a couple. You got to match up a little bit better athletically. And if you can do that, I look at Tremont Mark like Peerless Price. Like, you remember the receiver that was at Atlanta, went up to Buffalo. He's a number 2. If Mark's your number 2, man, we got something cooking then. Mark, is just tough for him to be the number 1 guy. If you can get somebody else that can come in, because then you're going to get the team's second best defender. They're not. You're not the number one main scout. I mean, I think we could have something, right? And maybe it's a point guard. Maybe you have. Maybe that's what you need. And then Battle's a guy that brings instant offense off the bench. I like Battle being if you can have Battle be in that role, your Ricky Council role, instead of your starter role. But yeah, those guys you just said, those are all high level players that you hope they come back. No question about it.
Get Jalen Shelley and Isaiah Elohim, who are incoming freshmen for next year. They fall. Like you're talking about. So who do you need? You need players with some size. You need, as Joe Foley once put it to me in the offseason, we're bringing in some beef next year. You need some beef. You need some not enforcers, but just some height, some shoulder width. But I mean, some strength. Basically, what Makai is right now. You got to find a way to replace Makai Mitchell. And man, I mean, I know you probably missed on a couple of transfers that would have given you that kind of play this year. But I just have so last year was the outside shooting. So you went out, you got some outside shooting. What are you going to, you lack a point guard right now. Who's your point guard for this team at the moment next year? Any field? But yeah, I'm also worried about some size. Need a center. 7-footer would be great. Have 6'9" power forward.
Yeah, I mean those are tough to find. We have to get more athletic. That would be the thing. If you said what's one thing that you want to see to next year's team, we have to have better athletes. We have to. We are. You got to be long, rangy. You got the basketball mold, basketball type. You got to be able to stay in front of people. That's the one thing we've struggled with this year is our lateral movement. But it's because I think we have the lesser of the athletes. When I look at LSU, how do you think LSU beat Kentucky? Because they can match up with them athletically. Yeah. Florida has just as many athletes as anybody. Auburn does too, and that's how South Carolina. I don't. Mississippi State, I think, and Ole Miss still kind of lacking. You can't say that A&M doesn't have athletes. They got athletes all up and down that roster. We have to get better athletically, no question about it.
Well, still, one of your better athletes is Trevin Brazile. I wonder what happened with Brazile for next year. And Debo, the same thing. I mean, does Debo finish his career at Arkansas or somewhere else? Not going into the draft. Do you start your pro career now, or
this is his pro
career? Try to find another place where you can go play in college.
College is his pro career. This is his. He's going to make more money this next year in college than he's going to make anywhere else. He would be playing pro if it's in Lithuania, or if it's in the G League, whatever it's in. But yeah, he's going to make more money in his NIL deal next year. No question, he's a college player.
Once the season's over, we'll be paying attention to these kids' social media just the way we did with football season, just paying attention to see when is there some sort of an announcement. Because remember, when did it start feeling inevitable that KJ would finish his career somewhere else? Because, we were waiting on it at the end of the regular season, waiting on his announcement. But even then, even before they brought in Taylor Green from the portal, there was just this sense that, well, you've done what you can here, and it's not going to finish here. I feel maybe a little bit the same way about Debo. Like I'm starting to feel maybe surprised if he would come back to Arkansas. Of course, there are going to be conversations between coach and player that might already be going on, might have already happened, or will happen when the season ends, and then a decision comes from that. But I'm starting to sort of feel the same way about Debo now that I felt about KJ in late November.
How do you feel about Brazile? Would you want to see Brazile back? You think he's a guy that could come back? Because I look at it as
is he gonna play? Is he gonna play?
I wonder
the question.
how much of a recruiting tool you can say, because when you had Nick Smith, Anthony Black, you had these guys. It's easy to get a Brazile in. How many guys look around and say, "I want to play with Brazile"? That's a guy I want to go play with. So I think that has something to do, because Brazile is a talent. You would want to play with him, but maybe it's about his mindset with Brazile. Does he want to be out there? Does he really? Because there's a difference between being hurt and being injured. It's like, do you not want to be out there and playing, or are you is he got who's talking with him? Does he have his own representation? We saw that with Nick Smith last year. He had his own doctors instead of the Arkansas doctors. You wonder all the other things that are going into it, because if the kid's healthy, he's our best player. He's the one with the most number one NBA potential on this roster.
So you feel like, so why did Nick Smith actually come back and play for Arkansas in February? Did he need to get more tape, for scouts, or did they basically know what they needed to know about him out of high school? Because he would have been a first round pick if you could come out of high school. They probably had their minds made up by then. With Brazil, I think it's a different thing. There's got to be more on tape for him in order to be considered for the draft. So I think Smith came back because he wanted to play in the NCAA tournament. That's the way. When I look back on it, that's the way it feels to me. For Brazil, like the tournament feels like a reach. The NCAA tournament feels like a reach. NIT does not. But what is it that he's playing for? Is it for team purposes, or is it for personal purposes? I mean, it can be both at the same time, though. Yeah, I mean, if he does come back next season, hopefully it's still with other players about that height that play stronger and bigger. That's what you want to see from Bay Fall, right? I mean, he got in a couple of games ago against Mississippi State in a couple of minutes. I mean, kind of looked like he belonged. But that's a guy that hopefully you'll say that there's a big jump between that first and second year when it comes to basketball. I think they go into the portal and get a couple of forwards, strong guys, no matter what. But there's somebody that's sitting on the bench, a McDonald's All-American, who's got the frame to put some weight on there, some strength and some muscle. And it's somebody that I think wants to be a Razorback. So I hope he's part of the equation next year too.
I think he will make a jump. I do. I think this has been really beneficial for him this year. I did like what I saw out of him, even if it was just in that couple minutes. And you can't teach height. I mean, you're born with it or you're not. And if he had somebody else to kind of match up with him, but yeah, Bay Fall could very easily be our starting five next year.
Hey, Matt, remember the conversation from hour one about players that have made a big jump in their, late in their careers at Arkansas? I'm talking to Kai Mitchell, Chad Spanberger. Someone else had mentioned it. It's probably right, Brandon Allen. Brandon Allen made a huge jump from year 2 to year 3, and then from year 3 to year 4. He went from completing just under 50% of his passes as a sophomore to 66% as a senior. And that was still a jump of 10% from his junior season. I mean, they're right there. Look at that. Nobody thought Brandon Allen was an NFL quarterback as a sophomore. And then as a senior, he elevates himself. And, he's in the NFL. Good reason.
He's been that Chase Daniels effect. Coach's son, smart kid, locker room guy. I mean, he's got a lot of the intangibles that you look for in a backup quarterback. No question about it.
All right, we'll wrap things up in a moment here on halftime. Make sure you got the Bet Saracen app on your phone. College baseball weekend. Arkansas fans love to put money on Arkansas baseball. Of course, you got the remainder of the college basketball season. Flash bet, certainly something you want to think about during the NCAA tournament. And get your preseason Major League Baseball prop bets in when you use the Bet Marketplace. Get those bets in now. You can sell those bets as the season progresses. It's all on the Bet Saracen app. You got to learn how to do it. They've got the video at betsaracen.com featuring Jancy Sheets. It'll tell you and teach you how to play all of the various bets on Bet Saracen. You can download it on Google Play, the Apple App Store, and it always works on any web browser, betsaracen.com. Conclusion of halftime coming up in just a moment.
1.9% financing for up to 72 months on America's #1 truck, the Ford F-150 at Harry Robinson Sallisaw Ford. All of that, and then pair it with matching down payments. It's the time to buy a new truck.
Yes, it definitely is. Everybody's saying don't buy. Interest rates are too high. That is just not the case at Harry Robinson Sallisaw Ford. Get your rebates, get your discounts. Let us match your down payment up to $2,500, and let us get you rolling in a new F-150 at 72 months at 1.9% financing.
We're talking about saving thousands of dollars over what the bank can loan you money for, or anyone else at 1.9%.
Yes, and all these other brands out there advertising 72 months at 3.9, 4.9. Hey, you got the number one selling truck at 72 months at 1.9% financing.
Plus, get more for your trade, and Harry Robinson never, ever charges over sticker price.
Negative. Come down here. This is where you want to buy your new Ford.
Harry Robinson, Saddle-Saw Ford, matching down payments up to $2,500, 1.9% financing up to 72 months, 1 mile south of exit 308 off of I-40 in Saddle-Saw.
Precision Overhead Door features the finest quality materials, installation, and service for all of your overhead door needs. Fully licensed and insured, with locations in Rogers and Fort Smith, serving all of Northwest Arkansas and the River Valley. Give them a call today at 844-PDS-STORE or online at PrecisionDoorNWA.com. Back-to-back winners of the Best of Award, Gold Best Garage Company in Northwest Arkansas, and also winners of the River Valley Precision Overhead Door.
The tires on your vehicle go round and round, but when they don't, go to Van Alma Tire. They have tires in their name. That's their specialty. Van Alma Tire is all about tires. They have all the name brands and private labels available for you and in stock. So when it comes to getting tires for your ride, it's worth the drive, and financing is available. Ask for details. Whatever your tire need, check out Van Alma Tires on Highway 64 between Van Buren and Alma. Ready to get you rolling on new tires at Van Alma Tire.
Did Cupid shoot you with a crossbow of drama instead of an arrow of true love? Don't let that little cherub ruin the rest of your life. Call Mock Legal Solutions today to stop the bleeding. Schedule a free consultation and ask about our special pricing for new divorce filings in February. 479-769-1505. Mock Legal Solutions, real advice, reasonable price.
Are you in need of a good power washing? Mike Gear's Mo Wash is a full-service pressure washing corporation with over 15 years of experience in the River Valley and Northwest Arkansas. Cleaning services include exterior home, fence, driveways, walkways, gutters, full deck cleansing, and more. We remove dirt, grime, and more to give you that sparkle you desire. Call me at 479-763-5561. We're open Monday through Saturday from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. Mike Gear's Mo Wash, one call, cleans it all.
Matching down payments up to $2,500 at Harry Robinson, Saddle-Saw Ford. It's like doubling your money. You put in $1,000, you get $2,000. You put in $2,500, it counts for up to $5,000 here at Harry Robinson, Saddle-Saw Ford.
Yes. Hey, Tommy, we're excited. Every time we announce this right here, we get a lot of customers. We get a lot of people coming in, taking advantage of this program. And why not? It's free money, okay? It's going to help you lower your monthly payment. It's going to put you in a better equity position for in the future. Guys, there's no reason not to come down here and buy at Harry Robinson, Saddle-Saw Ford.
Tell me about your selection right now.
Tommy, we have the best selection that we've had since opening day. Me and you've been doing this since opening day, and I have not seen this many cars on our lot ever. So come down here and see us. We've got the selection to choose from.
Got nearly 200 right now to choose from.
Yep, got around 200. So come out here. We've got everything you're looking for: car, truck, van, SUV, transit, Super Duty, whatever it is. Come down here. Let us match your down payment up to $2,500. And hey, we've got the selection.
Harry Robinson, Saddle-Saw Ford, 1 mile south of exit 308 off of I-40 in Saddle-Saw.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
I'll be there. If you call me, you will find me. If you call me, I'll be there. I'll be there. I'll be there. Running to the church and you gotta get back. Go to Mr. Shaw, you're sitting in the front hall.
Welcome back to Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones. Got a question or comment for the guys? Call or text on the McClarty Daniel hotline, 877-377-6963. Let's get back to the show with the voice of Arkansas Razorback baseball, Phil Elson, and Razorback football legend Matt Jones.
I did want to mention as we wrap up the show for Ole Miss and Mississippi State lost yesterday again in baseball. Man. The Rebels and Bulldogs were 2-3. Arkansas State beat Ole Miss in the Rebels home opener yesterday. 4-2 the final score is whoop, whoop, Red Wolves. And Mississippi State allowed 7 runs in the 8th and 9th innings combined. Got swept by Austin Peay. So, way to go. Let's go baseball. Let's go Mississippi. Let's not go Mississippi. The direction I like to see those teams going.
We still running with the Wolf Pack? Are they the Arkansas State Wolf Pack right now? What is Arkansas State? They're not the Indians anymore. I can't keep up with all their changes.
They're the Red Wolves.
Okay,
hey,
they're the Wolves.
Might as well play Ole Miss as often as you can, because you can't keep track of what they're calling themselves either. Black Bears, Sharks,
the Land Sharks, yeah,
fighting Lane Kiffins, whatever.
The Hottie Toddies.
Get me into that. Oh man, I got to tell you, my body picked the wrong time to come down with a little bit of a cold. It hit me as I left the studio yesterday.
Thank you.
So you're fine.
Hopefully
you're okay. I didn't sneeze around you too much. I know you got the spray lice all around there, so I'm sure you killed every germ that might have floated through the air when I was in studio with you. But I don't get sick very often, really, if ever. But my body picked the wrong time to come down with a little bit of a cold, because I got 4 quarters to call tonight, got the show tomorrow, and then 27 innings of baseball over the weekend to do solo. And we can't call baseball like this. Doesn't work out very
You got
well.
a steam room at that hotel?
I can create one.
I'd say get your sweat in.
Might get the
make sure you sweat.
Might get the fire alarm going at some point.
Try to sweat.
How much
sometime.
sweating do I need to do?
Just
Matt?
a little bit. Just break a sweat. That'll help. Right, get your body going. Get your systems firing.
I'm told sometimes you're supposed to, what is it? Starve of fever, feed a cold. So I think maybe the best thing that I can do is to eat as much as I possibly can when the show is over today. And then I think I'm going to do the boomstick tomorrow after halftime's over at Globe Life Field. Just because, I mean, it's a risk that's worth taking, right? I'm sure I can hold it all in during a baseball broadcast by myself. But I want to get rid of this cold. I got to feed it. And I would say 3 pounds of hot dog meat would be a great way to take care of yourself physically when you want to get rid of a cold, right? Hot dog meat's always the best way to be healthy. That's how I live.
Quarter mile at a time.
That's looking at me right now like he's looking at me like it's been nice now. I really am not excited about doing
Well, I
the show by
planned
myself
on
next week. I've eaten 30,000 calories in one sitting.
The wolf's out with the sickness. You came through with your sniffles yesterday. I kind of halfway planned on being sick by Friday, so it's right on schedule.
Well, you sound good and you look good right now.
I like it. I like it when you lie to me.
By tomorrow, it'll all be much different. Great stuff. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. Glad your AT&T phones now work, and I'm glad that my internet actually held throughout the entire show too. Ruskin and Zach are coming up in just a moment, and the Eastside Liquor Halftime Podcast downloadable very, very soon. For the C Unit, C Music, C Movie, Matt Jones as well. I'm Phil. That's halftime, and have a great rest of your Thursday. Get up, get out, and get better.
$1.9% financing for as long as 72 months right now at Harry Robinson, South Ford, 1 mile south of exit 308 off of I-40.